live. I think you know exactly what he is. Well, so it's doing that there. Okay. All right. All right. So, granted, there's no one in here. I have to say this for legal purposes, just in case they pull the video or YouTube is watching or Top Rank. There is. I'm not going to be physically showing the fight, obvious reasons, because, well, I don't want to get my shit taken down. Any audio you hear of the fight is just going to be background noise. I'm going to purposely try to talk over uh, the fight. So obviously no YouTube hits or anything like that. And not to mention, who wants to hear Joe Tessitore talk? We're here at 8:01 Central Time. We're still shit. It's gonna be way after midnight. This fight's over here Central Time. God damn. We still got 2 more fights before the co-feature and 3 more before the main event. I hope these go a little bit faster. Like, here's the thing. I have no problem with fights this late at night on a Thursday. Well, let me run that back. I have no problem with fights on a Thursday night. I have problems with fights on a Thursday night to where we're 8 o'clock and we still have 4 fights left. Some of us still do have to get up tomorrow. I know the fight card's in Vegas. I know really, the weekend starts Thursday nights there. Super Bowl weekend out there. But damn, man, y'all killing the folks on the East Coast, man. This be way after 1 o'clock when this is over. Now, to be critical here of Top Rank and ESPN here tonight, like, these fights have went like uber, like the pacing of the card has sucked tonight. Typically they're a little bit better than what they are, but this was really, really bad so far today. The pacing has been pretty awful. A lot of filler time. When you talking to Thursday night, for a lot of us, we're just waiting for the week to get over. Excuse me. And we're just wanting to fight, the week to get over with. We're trying to ease into our Friday, asking us to stay up here to way after midnight. That's tough. That's tough. I'm trying my best. I did take a little bit of a cat nap. Because I'm old and I fall asleep very easily. So, and you're getting the evening voice of me. So, for anyone who's been familiar with the podcast throughout the years, no, typically an hour or 2, my voice would go to shit in the podcast. When you do live broadcasting and you're doing 2 hours worth of show. At one time, I did a 3-hour show. Shit was crazy. You're doing 2 hours worth of a broadcast. And talking, your voice goes. Not to mention, kind of battling something as well. You can hear a little nasal congestion. But I'm here. I'm going to stay up as long as I can. Hopefully, I don't doze off live here on YouTube as we watch Teo Lopez and Jamaine Ortiz. And it's Jamaine and not Jermaine. I think I've called him Jermaine, and it's Jamaine. So Jamaine. So, the state Maine, Maine. So there we go. But yeah. So, interesting fight here, fight card so far. Well, not really. Shout out to Abdullah Mason, who did just wake us up with a spectacular second round finish. Abdullah Mason's a scary, scary young man. Salute to him. A fantastic young fighter. Really impressed by what I'm seeing out of him. He looks good. He definitely looks like he's going to be the goods, and somebody we should keep our eyes on going forward. So salute to him. I mean, really, he's one of the better prospects they have there underneath the Top Rank roster. And, they had a bunch of guys seem like all at once that kind of came in, and you're seeing some levels of separation amongst these young men. And Abdullah definitely looks like he's going to be one of the ones that he's going to rise to the top and be a phenomenal fighter. And I like, that he's easing his way into it, which is good. And I know another one, they had Shushu here. They had interviewed here before Abdullah Mason's fight, and Shushu's another one, fantastic young fighter. uh, who's also not in a hurry to get to the top. He even said himself in the interview, he's looking at maybe 2025 for him to go fight for a championship, maybe even later this year. So he's in no hurry. So you got to respect that these guys are wanting to ease themselves into these opportunities and fight for these belts and not being in a hurry. So there you go. Now, as we wait for more fights, as I'm looking over, so if you're watching this, obviously you're going to see me looking over this direction here. That's where my TV's at. They're doing more filler time. We're not even going to the next bout. Like I said, it's still two more quote unquote undercard fights before we get to um, Pedraza and Keyshawn Davis. And obviously, you'll have that before you get to Lopez Ortiz. Maybe I made a mistake going this early, going live, but I don't know. Like I said, we'll see how long I can do this without falling asleep or dozing off or the voice going out here this evening, or I might as well say this night at this point. So um, going through the fight cards they're gonna have here, you'll have next week. Um, Shikaki, is it Shikaki or Shikaki Foster? I just completely butchered that man's name. And Abraham Nova here on the 17th. So that's a solid fight. Um, uh, Estrada, Acosta Valier is what they're talking about now. They had the presser for that fight card here that'll be here on the 29th of March. Honestly, I don't know if they're elevating that to the main event, but I know Oscar Valdez, Liam Wilson is the main was at least promoters being the main card of the main fight there on the shit. I know I'm getting sleepy. The main event there on the card. Um, but you got a unification bout here between those two ladies. I really hope that does get elevated to the main event, to be quite honest. Oscar Valdez coming off of a loss, which I got to see here last August in Phoenix. Oddly enough, the same place he's going to be returning, fighting here next month. I guess a solid Liam Wilson. Jesus Christ. Um, it's solid fight. I mean, solid fight. But I think the lady should honestly headline that. And salute to Golden Boy and Top Rank for getting together, making this fight card happen. Salute to Sinise Estrada and Oscar De La Hoya for burying the hatchet yesterday. If you saw during the press conference, they understand everything's all business. I mean, and that's what it is in boxing. A lot of it is business. You can't take hard feelings when someone parts ways with you or wants out of their contract if they don't feel that you're fully committed to them. And that was kind of the situation there. She didn't feel like they were really putting all the resources behind her correctly. She goes to Top Rank, and she's been getting a lot of love there. So salute to Sinise Estrada. So yeah, salute to her for that. We actually have a fight card. Not a fight card. We have a fight that's about to start here. Yeah, so we have Javier Martinez versus Raul Solomon. This is here in the middleweight division, 8-round bout. They are about to do their in-ring introductions. Again, I'll try to talk over to where you can hear it. Obviously, I have to turn it up to where I can hear it, to where I can hear what the hell's going on. Kind of have to. That's how things work. But yeah, so there's that. What was I gonna say in regards to this? Salute to Mark Chinook, who's really, if you're watching the fight card live, which you should be watching, maybe watch it on mute and listen to me and talk to me, interact with me here. Um, Mark Chinook's battling through it. You can tell he's got a cold or something himself as he's doing the, the ring announcements, and you hear his voice crack. So salute to Mark Chinook for really battling through it here tonight. Getting through these announcements and introductions and what have you. So salute to him for that. Again, man, people don't realize it seems easy to do this kind of stuff. And I don't think people really realize this shit is not easy. Getting behind a mic, getting in front of a camera, getting in a ring, doing ring announcements, or and commentating like these people are doing here on Top Rank. It's not easy. It's not easy for anybody doing it, for any organization or any level. If it was easy, more people would do it. And the ones who want to criticize the people who do a shitty job, quite honestly, are afraid to get behind one of these and talk and get in front of a camera and talk and what have you. They'll hide behind their avatars on social media. So I don't know. I just felt like I needed to say that there. But Here we go. These gentlemen here are about to. Okay, yeah, they're giving their instructions now here from the ref. So we do got. I do see. Let's see here. Oh, Robert Garcia's here in the corner of. I don't know who's. I can't tell who's in the corner of there. Harvey Martinez. Okay, I think he's in the corner here of Harvey Martinez. I'll see here momentarily when they say whose trunks or what. Quite forgive me for not being too familiar with Harvey Martinez. I know I've seen him on other top rank cards. Yeah, so that's Robert Garcia who's in his corner. And this is an 8 rounder here. Let's see what we got going here. Solomon kind of looks like a Walgreens version of David Benavidez. Um, yeah, that's wild. My man looks like he does look like. I mean, he's got a lot of tattoos. The face and neck region. Very interesting tattoo on the back of his neck there. All right. But yeah. Okay, that's something. So hmm, so here we got going here. So yeah, right now, oh, oof, kind of wild boxing here from Solomon. Um, Not real crisp defense, or real tight defense with his guard. Not really enjoying that. Right now, he's the one being the aggressor, pushing forward. He's got Martinez kind of backpedaling a bit. Now, Martinez is taking a little bit more control here in the center of the ring. And as soon as I say that, here comes Solomon attempting to back him down again. But again, Solomon, this one thing that annoys the shit out of me when I watch fighters, like when you're always adjusting your trunks. Solomon, after he throws the combinations, is got his hands down. He's pushing down his trunks like his trunks are up too high, or he's got something wrong with his protector. This is something you should have worked out and had at the optimum comfort level before you got in the ring, or once you got in the ring and started moving around, like doing that. But I hate when I see boxers do that, like, oh, I gotta adjust my shorts, or I don't know if it's a nervous tick or what, because obviously with you having these big ass gloves on, you're not gonna be really able to adjust your trunks or your guard. So I think it's more of a nervous tick, but it's just one of those things. Watching it has always just annoyed the shit out of me, seeing fighters do that. Very weird. But to Solomon's credit, he is pressing forward. He is throwing shots. He is making Martinez work here quite early on. Again, Solomon's defense is not the best from what I'm seeing. I'm not liking that, but real good infighting here by both gentlemen thus far. Um, with this infighting, and I mean they're going head to head here, which I also don't like. Um, may see a headbutt here sooner than later. I gotta say, Martinez is trying to work the body, but I've now noticed two straight right hands that look really low. But he's throwing those to the side to where the ref can't see it, to where the ref can't call that. But there's two of them I've seen. I wouldn't say back to back per se, but there were two within a 10-second interval of each other that were right there on the hip, hitting the thigh. From my perspective, what I was seeing. So, um, get out. Shout out to Solomon. I'm gonna actually give him that round because I think he just made Martinez work. I mean, Martinez had to backpedal quite a bit. Now, as we're watching this now, and as you should be watching it as well, and not watching it illegally, it's on ESPN and ESPN Plus. Jamaine Ortiz is walking into the arena with the slow walk, and what have you. That is so weird. Again, like I'm gonna walk in all extra slow. It's weird to me. I don't know when this has became a thing to we have to show these fighters quote unquote arriving. When in a lot of cases, I can tell you from being media and being at these events, they've been there a while. Um, so when they're showing them quote unquote coming in, they've actually been there a while, and this is just footage that they taped hours ago. So weird. Like, we got to show them walking in all slow with their crew. Like no one cares, bro. No one cares. All right, we're starting off here round number two. Again, these guys are meeting right in the center of the ring. And again, I'm impressed by Solomon, who's brought in to be the opponent, actually uh, being kind of an aggressor. I mean, he's doing a pretty good job uh, being the aggressor and making Martinez fight off the back foot and fight off the ropes. Now, part of that, I gotta say, Martinez is he's being a willing participant in this. And what I mean by that is he's willing to backpedal, he's willing to go up against the ropes, he's willing to do these things and not really being, trying to take advantage or take control. As again, I seem like I'm jinxing myself as I say that. A nice little flurry right here in the center of the ring. He kind of switched positions around. One thing I am noticing here tonight, compared to other fights here on Top Rank, I'm noticing a lot of advertisement here on the canvas. As we saw on the fight card here from the UK last week with Joshua Buatsi, hopefully I'm enunciating that correctly, and his opponent, it was slipping, and his opponent slipped a couple times. Now, granted, he got hit by punches, but those are clearly slips. That's one thing. I know they got to make money with the advertisement and all that good stuff. Totally get it. But the uh, over amount or the just sheer volume sometimes of these decals on rings on the canvas scares me because when the fighters are in there sweating, they sweat, they slip, boom, somebody could get, hurt. We've seen guys roll ankles, slip, something get called a knockdown because they did get hit with a punch. But thus far here throughout this fight card, no, that hasn't occurred. So hopefully I'm not jinxing that somebody snaps a fucking ankle here tonight. That would be so awkward. Let's hope that doesn't occur. All right, so let's see right here. So Solomon again, better round right now for Martinez. He's doing a little bit better job of circling and getting off of the ropes here in round number 2 compared to the first round. Again, he's not really doing a good job of that in round number 1, and I thought Solomon took control at round 1, but about 40 seconds left here in the second round. A little flurry here by Solomon, but he's swinging at air. Guys like Solomon in their style, and him being a little bit rambunctious in there, makes me wonder if he's going to gas out if this goes the full 8 rounds. But again, Martinez, I don't get why he's not wanting to get off the ropes. Yeah, he keeps kind of backpedaling, getting on the ropes, and now nice little flurry here to close out the round here from Martinez, as Robert Garcia is screaming at him like, "Don't let him steal the round from you." So, I think Martinez did enough there early on, really controlled the round. Swinging him around and getting off of the ropes. A little bit of a flurry by Solomon there towards the end of the round, but a nice flurry to close out the round for Martinez. So I think we're up 1-up here for these guys. Me reach and grab my water here as I slide the mic this way and then slide it back. So yeah, so I think we're up 1-0. Oh, not 1-0. Jesus Christ. Again, I'm getting sleepy, y'all. 1-up here through 2. Total again, this is an 8-rounder, so somebody's gonna have to start really taking control here in these next 2 rounds and really solidifying themselves and trying to distance themselves, because when you fight these shorter fights, oh, my voice is cracked. As you fight these shorter round fights, it's important to get off to good jumps and good starts, because if you don't, what you're going to have happen is, you get into these last few rounds of the fight and you're in the gun. Like you got to, do the proverbial shit or get off the pot, if you will. And that's what we're looking at right now. Like, one of these guys really has to take control and say, okay, I'm going to be the guy here going forward. So, again, to open up this round is kind of the same thing as well. We saw in the first 2 rounds is Martinez going against the ropes, Solomon kind of coming in and trying to pressure him. But again, Martinez is doing a better job, definitely here in the third round, from circling away and getting off the ropes. Let's see, we're hearing Tim Bradley saying guys need to apply more offense to that defense. Yeah. Um, God bless Tim Bradley. I really do think he does a good job at commentating here on ESPN, but sometimes he says kind of the obvious. Um, and sometimes it's actually a good thing. I mean, sometimes you have to state the obvious because you want to make sure your audience fully understands what's going on and what they're actually watching. Because some don't fully get what the hell they're seeing, and probably um, yeah, get a little thrown off by some of what they're seeing. So salute to him for that. Um, let's again. I just want to see Martinez. This is frustrating to watch. Is steadily fighting off your back foot, and have to steadily circle off of the ropes. You know, you're giving Solomon confidence to work. And granted, he's doing a pretty good job of countering Solomon's offense once he gets pressed up against the ropes. He just landed a nice overhand right there. He's doing a good job of countering Solomon's offense, but he could be doing. I mean, I don't know. Like, again, it's just a little bit frustrating for me to see this kind of stuff. Like, yo, man, you gotta do a better job of just not staying on the ropes the entire fight, fighting off the ropes, fighting off your back foot. Some guys can do that. I know they were talking when they were breaking down as I hit the microphone here. They were talking here in regards to Teofimo Lopez. That's something he's able to do really well, is fight off his back foot. He's a good counter puncher, but shit, Whew, getting verklempt. For me, I don't always like that. I mean, it kind of can sometimes give a uh, what's the word I want to look for here? It can give off an image to a judge who isn't well versed in boxing, which, let's all be honest here, we see some very shitty judging. Um, us who are educated and know what we're seeing may see a guy who's letting his opponent be the aggressor and he's feeding off of that, from fighting off the back foot and let his opponent be the aggressor and him just countering and picking him apart. But some people see that as you retreating, and the guy who is applying the pressure is actually the one who's controlling the fight. It's one of those things you just have to be careful of as a fighter, because you never know. Like, there's shitty judging out there, like really shitty judging. We see it from time to time, and we see it more from time to time, more than time to time. But I don't know. I think Martinez did enough there to win. So he's now up 2-1 as we head into the fourth round. As they're right now talking to Keyshawn Davis backstage. Sometimes these Mark Kriegel interviews make me cringe. Mark Kriegel means well. I really do think he does, but yeah, he makes me cringe. Um, and also salute to whoever did the marketing here for this fight. The Teofimo Lopez show and kind of the circus theme, if you will. Very fitting for Teofimo Lopez, who sometimes can be. He's a showman, but he can also be kind of a circus freak, and I mean it in a respectful way because we've seen these interviews with him. We've heard him say some things that make us scratch our head and wonder where in the hell is this guy's head is at. He seemed a little bit more dialed down this fight than we've seen him in recent months and in the last few years. So a little bit more in tune, which is good. He seemed a lot calmer. So we'll see how that translates here in ring. Now, as we open up here round four, again, Martinez on the ropes. Solomon trying to do a lot of infighting. He's just trying to um, apply pressure and keep Martinez along those ropes. And if you're watching this live along with me, anyone else notice the amount of back acne my man Martinez is working with? Yikes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's that. But again, he just can't stay off the ropes. And Solomon's not really. Solomon gets in, he lands, boom, 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 and then he'll throw a wild hook up top that is very poorly timed. I'll also say this, and again, this is kind of what Martinez. Maybe this is playing into Martinez's hand a little bit better. Now as they've gotten to the center of the ring and they're infighting, but Martinez is doing a real good job of countering here. He's landed some real good shots here this round. Just landed a nice left hook there. He's starting to break down the guard of Solomon, which his guard isn't that great to begin with. I didn't really like his defensive posture even to start the fight. But again, Martinez, great flurry there in the middle of the ring, probably won the round off of that. And then he takes some steps back and goes up against the ropes. And now you're giving Solomon an opportunity to possibly steal around again. Again, you got to get off the ropes. Now he's doing a good job of, trying to swing off of the ropes, kind of take it back to the center. But neither one of these guys have really had much of a jab going. It's been a lot of, head to head infighting, and that's what you're seeing. Um, I think that the biggest difference that I'm seeing is Martinez looks like he's going to close the round strong here. Nice body work, nice body shots there. Um, Nice exchange there. Oof, throwing some shots. The thing is, he's the more crisper puncher of the two. He's timing Solomon well, because Solomon's defense is sloppy, but he's not landing really a hard enough shot to keep Solomon away. I think he's got Solomon's respect, but he doesn't have Solomon scared. And what I mean by that is Solomon's not scared of what's going to come back in return. He's going to willing to stay in that pocket, and he's going to be willing to eat one because what he's been taking hasn't really affected him thus far. Now, how long he can continue to take these shots, because he got hit with some really clean shots here in that fourth round. I don't particularly like, but we'll see. It may be tougher than we think. So here we go into the fifth. It's 3-1 for Martinez. But again, he's fighting a really odd fight that I just don't like him fighting. I don't like the ideal of just, you know, on the ropes. Okay. Let's see how this one starts off. Let's see if Martinez starts backpedaling here as we start round 5. Um, hmm, Interesting. So Martinez is right here in the middle of the ring, and he's just letting Solomon kind of tee away on him. He's thrown nothing thus far back, but he's got his guard up, and he's just letting Solomon just throw shots. Okay, we're 30 seconds in. Okay, he's just threw his first shot, a right hook to the body. But the first damn near 30 seconds of the round, it was just Solomon throwing punches there. Martinez, who had his guard up. So, hmm, okay. Yeah, and I don't know. Hopefully you couldn't hear that for YouTube purposes, but Tim Bradley just said what I was been saying. Martinez has made this fight a lot tougher on himself because of the style he's fighting. Now he does have Solomon hurt here. Solomon's guard again. His guard is very sloppy. That's something this young man's going to have to work on. He's got to tighten up his defense. But he's getting hit with a lot more cleaner shots here this round, and trying to do a little bit of a shoulder roll here with some of the blocks, and that shoulder roll is ugly. Ooh. Um, he's now starting to back up as Martin is starting to clip him, hitting with some shots. So, okay, this is kind of what I thought would happen. He's kind of breaking him down. Um, to Solomon's credit, he's lasted a little bit longer than what I thought he would. Like I said, Solomon does look like a Walgreens version of David Benavidez. I'm gonna tweet that. That's mean, but I'm gonna tweet it. But he does look like that. So yeah, I don't know if Martinez might have punched himself out here. Because again, he goes right up against the ropes yet again, and giving Solomon an opportunity, but Solomon looks like he's really gassed out. This guy looks starting to look pretty exhausted in there. So and again, now Martinez is starting to work the body, kind of throwing some overhands here through and now he's trying to work the uppercuts here. Yeah. Solomon's defense is getting looser and looser, and he's getting hit more and more with these clean shots. So yeah, I don't like that at all. All right, good round here from Martinez. Solomon's starting to look like he's winding down here. Benavidez. It's okay. I had to use the talk to text there. Shout out to Gabe out here doing uh, translating here for Jose Pedraza here backstage. Pedraza's hands are wrapped, so hopefully, I'm hoping this next fight after this one here goes fast, so we can kind of get on to this damn main event card. These two fights, so um, I don't know, and I don't know how to feel about this Pedraza Keyshawn Davis fight. It's definitely going to be a test to an extent for Keyshawn Davis, but a test I also think he should be able to pass with flying colors. To be truth be told, I really do think he's gonna he's gonna win. I don't think he's gonna get a stoppage, but I don't know. I don't know. It feels like it could be a trap fight, but we'll see. Solomon's being a little bit more of an aggressor here to start off round number 6. I think he knows he's definitely down. Um, as we go here to the 6th, and he's the aggressor. And again, Martinez not circling off the ropes, just kind of staying along there, willing to trade shots. He's doing an okay job, and I mean he's hitting Solomon because Solomon's there to be hit. Solomon's defense is just not that good. Um, but again, Martinez fought and is fighting the wrong fight here. Uh, you know, he really fought. I'm saying this in past tense. He's fighting kind of the fight for Solomon. Like this is Solomon's style, and while this is a great learning process for a young guy like Martinez, it's also going to be one of those things where he's going to go back and look at this and be like, "Shit, man, I made this way more tougher on myself. I took way more punishment than I should have." Um, he's not like taking an exuberant amount, like nothing that scares me, anything like that. But he's taking enough to where it's like, okay, yo, you can relax, bro. Like you don't need to be in here taking all this shit. Um, but you can tell he's kind of tiring down and wearing down a little bit more himself as well. Um, but Solomon is probably more tired amongst the two of these guys. So it's starting to get a little bit sloppy here in round number 6. Mm, body work there. Yeah, I think if he's going to stop him here and talking Martinez stopping Solomon, it's going to be from a body shot at this rate. The body shots have been there for the taking with the infighting. And I think that's going to be how he's going to get him up out of there. Hmm. Not a ton of offense here the second half of the round from Solomon. Definitely looks like he's starting to tire out. A lot of wild swings here as well to close the round out. So not really feeling that either. Hmm. So yeah, so there we go. So again, still 2 more rounds of this. Yo, it's 8:34 Central Time. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I don't know. I said, man, I maybe before I started the broadcast, I should have went and got me an iced coffee or something. Um, I've already had a Pepsi today and a cup of coffee and an energy drink. Really need water, but damn, bruh, we still got 3 more fights to go. 2 more rounds of the current fight. It's 8:34. Oh Lord. Okay, there it goes. There goes the yard. Oh, forgive me for that, y'all. They're comparing and showing a graphic here between Teo Lopez and Ortiz, how they both fought against Vasily Lomachenko. Interesting. People also pointed out there was a graphic that came on the screen earlier. If you can see it on social media, because they're gonna find it and take a screenshot of it. They're gonna keep receipts. Where they showed Teofimo Lopez's record, and he was undefeated, and I guess completely forgetting about the George Kambosos fight. So that's it's interesting. It's not the first time that's occurred. I mean, they were like that for a while with Lomachenko in regards to um his loss against Orlando Salido. Like that's one that they seem to forget, if you will. But yeah, I mean, okay, now Martinez is starting to tee off a little bit more here with headshots to Solomon. Solomon again looks like he's kind of walking through sand. You can tell those legs are definitely starting to pretty much disappear. If Martinez can get some space and work a little bit more to the body, I think he can get him out of there here this round because Solomon's moving, but it's like he's kind of walking through sand right now. And again, though Martinez, granted here he just circled off the ropes, but again he keeps backing himself up on these ropes and letting Solomon come forward. Again, he's going to look at this fight and he's going to say, I made this too tough on myself. Um, Very clear for me as far as this fight goes and watching him here perform tonight. So, okay, why is my face ID not wanting to work? Ugh, this thing's weird. So let's try this again. Still not working. All right, there it goes. But yeah, so very strange for that. Hmm. Okay, he's starting to, Martinez is starting the body work here, but he's doing it late in the round. It's like less than 30 seconds left now. He's trying to do the body work. This is something he should really put in right from the jump of this round. And like I said, if you could get him up out of there with that body work this round, because Solomon's just running, he's like I said, he doesn't have much left leg wise. Martinez just warned here for a low blow as the round comes to an end. As we will now go to the the eighth and final round here tonight. Kriegel again here doing interviewing here. Jamaine Ortiz here in the back. He's not really saying much of anything that's of note. He's been preparing for this for his whole life. Again, man, when you're interviewing these fighters, and I can say this from interviewing fighters for years, what the fuck do you think they're going to say? Like, I and then the thing is this: when you're interviewing them, people think you're going to get some other kind of reaction out of them, or when you ask them certain questions, these guys are going to toe the line for the most part. I've had a couple guys kind of off the deep end, uh, but for the most part, they're going to toe the line when you ask these questions, especially when you're asking guys stuff during fight week or in this case, live on the broadcast. Um, they're going to toe the line. They're not going to say anything crazy. They're not going to say anything you're not going to expect. They're going to say, "Yeah, I fought. I'm going to fight hard. Yes, this is my best training camp ever." Like every fighter is going to say that, and asking them those questions sometimes is very generic and very irritating. Something I tried my best to stay away from and tried to kind of come up with some original questions, some questions that'll kind of get the person I'm interviewing to be a little bit more engaged. And that's kind of something I pride myself in interviewing people, because you already know a lot of these answers to these questions. So don't ask the same dumb shit. Now, obviously, sometimes you have to ask some general information to help promote the fight. And, I had that understanding with public relations peoples from various organizations and promoters that I'd work with and have fighters on. Obviously, we got to talk about the fight. We got to promote the fight. That's the whole point of having them on the show. But, you also don't want to ask them cookie cutter questions. You want to ask them open ended questions. And also, if you guys know, if you follow me on social media, Brandon P2TF, you know that I work in bank fraud. And part of my job is asking open ended questions to get information. And I don't think a lot of interviewers really understand that because they're not asking open-ended questions to get real good answers from these guys they're interviewing. Uh, Speaking of which, here we go here to round 8. Martinez seems like he's much more of an aggressor here. He's attempting to close the show, but Solomon's not being willing participant here, doing a little bit of holding here. We got 80 seconds left here in the fight. And here again, Martinez. I'm going to backpedal. I'm going to go up against the ropes. Doing a little shoe shotting here. Kind of dancing around the ring. And once he does stop for a second, Solomon throwing a wild winging shot and hitting nothing. But the fight's pretty much in hand. I think you're going to look at here a 7-1 sweep should be the scorecard. I gotta give Solomon that opening round. I don't think I can give it anything beyond that. Um, but yeah, 7-1 should be your score. Should be your score. As we get here to the last 40 seconds of the fight. Again, this is Nevada. This is Vegas. We all see some strange shit here and there in regards to these scorecards and whatnot. Solomon's just pretty much loading up, trying to throw one Hail Mary shot here with 20 seconds left. Thus far, that's not connecting or doing anything, not really helping out his situation in the scenario here. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm not going to judge a guy. I think this is Martinez's 10th career fight. I'm not going to, shit on him and say, oh, this guy's garbage. This is only his 10th fight. Still a lot to grow on, still a lot to learn. He's a middleweight. Um, Middleweight's one of the more shit divisions there is in boxing right now. So, you know, he needs some seasoning, but definitely, 7-1 is what I scored it. But I think he's definitely going to be pissed looking at this and saying, I made this fight tougher. I fought Solomon's fight. I took more shots than what I should have. I should have just boxed smart and not, trying to make it a phone booth fight. But a fight like this also is a learning process. He's going to be able to know that this is something he can do if forced to, or if he gets in scenarios and fights to where that happens again. They're showing the replay. Jesus. Martinez didn't even an uppercut at one point in the fight and literally knocked snot out of his nose. That's something else. So yeah, there's that. So I go to the scorecards. He should be up here. Should win the fight 7-1 scorecard wise. So we'll see here in a second and see what is going on there. I will say, I don't think I'll do like start this early in a fight card, knowing how slow this shit has moved tonight. But I think this will be something you'll see more here from the channel is me do the simulcast as long as I don't get shut down by YouTube or the respective promoter. And I don't think I will. I don't think I'll really have any issues with either promoters. Again, you can't see the video of the fight. You really shouldn't be able to hear much of anything. It's up, TV turned up, but I don't think you can actually hear too much of the broadcasting again. It's in on the background. I may do. I may do more of these for fights going forward. Nothing on DAZN. I will say that I do not have DAZN. So there we go. All right. So unanimous decision here. Win here for Martinez. Looks like one of the two scorecards was 78-74. I didn't get to hear what the first one was because my ass was talking, but nevertheless, unanimous decision win here for Martinez. Those judges had a little bit closer than what I thought it would be. Oh God. So really, Teofimo Lopez is coming to the ring coming to the ring in a Rolls Royce, and he's dressed like Deadpool. That is something else. Okay. That is weird. I don't even know what to say to that. I mean, I know he's supposed to be a showman. I know all that. Obviously, they were in the ring, not the ring. They were in the arena way before this because uh, him and his dad are walking in. They're not carrying any bags. Nobody else is with them. So somebody's got their ring attire. So they've been here, been in the arena before, and I don't know if this was just for show, and then they got in the Rolls Royce and pulled up and all that, but that's just weird. Whatever, bro. Um, but we'll see how this plays out with Teofimo Lopez. I mean, he's talking to Terrence Crawford, who I know is there in Vegas, as they work with Keyshawn Davis, and Bomac's going to be in his corner tonight. So interesting. But I don't see it actually happening, mainly because I don't think Terrence Crawford would do business again with Top Rank. I don't know if he's still suing them or not, because that was the thing that they had going for a stretch. After he left Top Rank here, but now 2 years ago. So I I don't see a scenario where he would work with them again. I mean, I guess money can fix everything, eh, but I'll say this, and obviously we're putting the cart before the horse here. Obviously Teofimo needs to win his fight tonight. I would prefer that fight, Teofimo Lopez versus Terrence Crawford, versus Terrence Crawford moving up to 168 to face Canelo Alvarez. Um, that doesn't make a ton of sense to me, um, at all. I mean that's a large jump. You're jumping 20 pounds. Um, I don't like that at all. I don't know. Crawford walks around certain weight, and I've seen the guy at fights. He's not a. I mean, I'm fat, so he's small compared to me. He's small in height. Um, Canelo's not a large guy either, and I've seen Canelo in person. Um, I don't know. I just don't like that fight, quite honestly. But first he has to win his fight tonight. That being Teofimo Lopez, before we can even talk about him and Terrence Crawford as even a matchup in any juncture this year or next year. And again, it's boxing politics are going to get in the way of whether that's going to be something that we actually see or not. That can actually occur or not. So um, we now have another, I guess, undercard prelim fight. Jesus Christ. This has been a excruciatingly long card from Top Rank. It feels like they could have done something to speed this up, but hopefully we don't have much filler. Hopefully they go just straight to the next bout, and not go any more filler here with them all back at the desk. So we'll see here momentarily when they come back from commercial break. And they're showing screenshots here for Las Vegas. I will say, man, there is nothing like a fight weekend in Vegas. Um, it's just different, and anyone who's been to fights out there knows it's a different energy. Um, I'm glad that other cities get opportunities to have fight cards. Um, and for us who travel to go cover the fight cards, sometimes it's nice to see different scenery. Sometimes it's far cheaper to travel to other places compared to Vegas. But a fight weekend in Vegas it's nothing like it. It's just a different vibe. Um, Especially if you've been out there for big fights. If I've been out there for Mayweather weekends and Canelo weekends and Pacquiao fights, it's different. I'll even say this, one of the last ones that Terrence Crawford did for Top Rank when he fought Sean Porter, different energy out there. So, I mean, when you have big fights, fighters, personalities in boxing, it's a good live atmosphere out there in Vegas for those fights. So, uh, yeah, but again, I'm not have nothing against fight cards other cities. I had a great time in Phoenix last year for the Navarrete Valdez fight. I think it'll be a great time for them again here in the next month for Sinisa and Valai. How do you enunciate her name? My apologies. And Oscar Valdez and Wilson. So So, I know we're not close to the main event time because I know they have certain time for ring walks. But for Teofimo Lopez to be in the arena and still dress in his costume as Deadpool, and just sitting on the couch chilling, I mean, I think at some point you gotta get yourself like together. I mean, this is the last quote unquote prelim fight, if you will, and hopefully it ends fast. And then we're gonna go to ESPN here at 9:30 Eastern, 10:30, 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central Time. So we're 40 minutes away from that going to ESPN, and then obviously they'll start off with the Keyshawn Davis fight card against Pedraza. So the problem is with this is even if this fight ends fast, we've got Renee Garon. Hopefully, I enunciated that correctly. I'll see what Mark Chinook says here. Euron. Hopefully, I think I had it close enough. So, yeah. So Renee Euron versus here. Um, I've seen him fight before against Jorge Acosta. So, uh, so here we go. That is the next bout out here. Kind of seems like this is a weird fight to have here um, before you go on ESPN, but okay. Acosta's a guy. I think I've seen him on the Thompson fight cards, and I do think that is correct because I saw in his corner was oh, I'm forgetting my guy's name, who was the right hand man here of Mr. Ken Thompson, and I'm forgetting his name, and God forgive me for that. So yeah, so interesting position for him. I have noticed that a lot of the Thompson guys or former Thompson guys are getting opportunities to be on other fight cards with some other promoters. So good to see that they're still getting opportunities, getting fights, and getting on pretty, decent shows. So we'll see how this plays out here for him. So you've got Acosta and Giron here. I think this is was this a 10 round bout? What we got here? This is yet 8 round bout here. All right, already a lot more energy and action compared to the last fight we had here. Both these guys are right in the center of the ring, exchanging much better defense from both guys compared to our last fight here. So interesting observation Tim Bradley just had. I had to lock in for a second. So Tim Bradley says in regards to George Acosta, he's a guy who doesn't like to fight with his heart. He likes to fight with his mind. That's I've never heard that as being a description for a fighter. Mm. While they were talking about Garone as a guy who's missed weight like 3 out of the 4 last fights. God damn. I mean, this kid looks like a baby. This Garone guy, and I mean, you miss weight and then you miss it and you miss about like 3 pounds each time. Yikes. These guys are both actually using a jab. Um, Something we didn't see in the last fight at all. Like these guys are actually boxing. And it's not crisp yet, but some winging shots here by Garone. Um, it almost looks like Acosta may have a little bit of a reach advantage. He's he's kind of using that. He's kind of trying to stay on the outside there and make Giron have to work if he's willing to come inside and have to eat something. So he's doing a good job. And I mean, one thing I've noticed with Acosta, he's not only sticking the jab, but he's sticking the jabs to the body as well. He's done that a couple times here in the opening round. Hmm. Good opening round here by Acosta, I think. I don't know why they need to showcase who the referee is. The referee for tonight's main event is Harvey Dock, which I have no beef with. 33rd world. I thought he's done more world title fights than 33. Referee two Teofimo Lopez's fights, Cambosa Jr. and Nakatani. Notable fights is Canelo Charlo. Your judges tonight are going to be Tim Cheatham, David Sutherland, and Steve Weisfeld. Weisfeld 157 fights, world title fights, 53 for Sutherland and 55 for Cheatham. And then talking about how many fights of each of these guys they've judged. I don't like that energy. That feels like weird. Like I don't think these guys are gonna do anything shitty in regards to the judging. It's weird. Like they were, yeah. That I don't understand the whole point of that. But okay, that's I'm gonna let you live. I'm gonna let you live. But yeah. So again, I don't know. I think I'm watching a different fight than what Tim Bradley's watching because Tim Bradley's really, um, he's really enthused by the quote unquote elusiveness of Giron. I'm not. He is dipping low and all of that, but he's getting hit. And for me, the offense that Giron has let off hasn't been that crisp. When he is getting off, like right now, I'm watching this and very sloppy. He had a couple opportunities to throw some punches and just seemed like he didn't want to quite pull the trigger. I don't know if he's waiting for a perfect shot, quote unquote. But yeah, I'm not really feeling that. Okay, I had to search for someone who's gonna get on my nerves. It's Alex Capanova, who's in the corner here with Georgia Costa there for formerly known as Thompson Boxing, now CBN promotion. So, um, if you, like I said, if you know Thompson Boxing and what the product they put out, Alex Hapanova kind of took that over, made his own thing, and encompassing a lot of the talent that they had and were cultivating with Thompson Boxing. And Acosta's one of those guys I saw on those Thompson Boxing cards. Um, again, I'm just from watching this, and the offense is getting off. Acosta's landing the more cleaner shots. I know Giron is the maybe the more touted of the two guys here, but I'm not really impressed by what Giron's offensive output is. He's got a stiff jab he is throwing out. That jab, oddly, okay, well, there is some redness now starting to develop on the right side face of the right side of the face of Acosta, and I can't tell if that's from a butt or what. Wow, I've never seen that shit. So as the round is ending here, there was a bird that just flew on the ropes, right in the middle of the ring, in front of the camera. That's that's different. Hmm. But yeah, I'm not really all that impressed with what I'm seeing from Giron thus far. He's getting hit a lot. That offense he's letting off is almost like he's looking for one shot. Um, really sloppy when he throws, a lot of bending and wild shots like that. I'm not really impressed by what I'm seeing thus far. Again, I don't know if I'm watching a different fight than what Tim Bradley's seeing. So I showed a little bit of a vignette of talking about how in the amateurs Golden Gloves Ortiz lost to Teofimo Lopez. I mean, amateurs are amateurs. I don't, I'm not focused on something from years ago, from that far back when these guys were teenagers. So does nothing for me, boss. Neither one of these guys are getting wrapped yet. Both Ortiz and Lopez are still in the back, still in the rake in their street clothes they had when they came in. Looks like at least Ortiz is doing some stretching. Um, Show Lopez is just now starting to remove his uh, um, costume that he had on here of Deadpool. All right, let's start off here with round three. Garon's a little bit more of an aggressive outset, but again, he's throwing punches and he's kind of rushing in behind him. Like he's almost like he's smothering himself as he's going in. Um, I just don't like that. I don't. It's and again, I'm hearing Tim Bradley talking. I think we're seeing two different fights. He's saying, it's difficult for Acosta to deal with a guy who's dealing with, who's this herky jerky and all this movement. Yeah, Garon's doing all of that, but what is he doing? It's just a bunch of movement. It's not like he's landing a ton of clean shots. Again, he's throwing these 1-2 and then just throwing these wild willy-nilly punches that are missing. And if I'm a judge and I'm looking at this, I'm like, this guy's not showing any ring generalship, no control. He's after he throws these punches, he's getting countered. He just got countered with a right there after a wild series of punches because he's out of position. He's out of position because he's throwing these wild punches. So I don't know if I'm watching a completely different fight than Tim Bradley, but I am not impressed by anything I'm seeing from Giron thus far. Um, Again, this is just it seems like a guy who's very unpolished. Yeah, we're definitely watching two different fights. Again, now Bernardo Arsuno is saying the movement of Giron is throwing off Acosta. I'm looking at this and I'm seeing the polar opposite. I'm seeing a very calm Acosta just letting this wild punching Giron come in and throw these shots and not really hit much of anything. Now, I will say this with in regards to Giron, he lands one of these shots that are one of these wild swinging punches. They got enough juice behind him to where he could probably knock down Acosta, but they're just so wild and willy nilly. Hmm. Oh wow. So Harvey Doc, they're showing a video of him talking to Teofimo Lopez in his corner, obviously here, giving his instructions, and Teofimo has to make a comment. Let's not make this into a Josh Taylor situation. Let's dirty fight. If he fights dirty, I'm gonna fight dirty. And Harvey Docs he just kind of shot him down, which I don't blame him. And now Tiafimo's talking to the okay, that's very weird. To the commission, told her, hey, let's play fair, guys. Okay, Lord have mercy. And I'm going to actually completely disagree with Tim Bradley saying. Tim Bradley saying they're asking, hey, when a guy like Tiafimo Lopez makes a comment like if he bringing, if he has any questions and he makes that comment like he does, and Tim Bradley saying, hey, that brings us to the ref's attention, that puts the ref on his side. It may do the polar opposite where the ref's like, you know what, fuck this, like, dude, just go in there and fight. Um, I I I can see that maybe being more of that actually happening. I mean, I don't know. Again, maybe I'm just seeing things completely different because I'm sleepy. Completely feasible. I mean, it is 9 o'clock here in the Midwest. As we go to round four here of Acosta Giron, Giron a little bit more aggressive here in this round. Again, a lot of these weird herky jerky, and I'm noticing stuff when he's throwing punches, like he's almost kind of off of his feet. He's lifting up off the ground a bit when he's throwing these punches. Um, it just very sloppy and not real polished. Again, this is that may be the main focus word is unpolished. Very unpolished fighter. He could be very skilled. I'm not sure if I've seen him in a fight before or not, but not real polished. But some of the stuff that he's doing again, kind of similar to the last fight we had. He's kind of going in and he'll throw a punch and then he lowers his head and he's trying to go inside and just throw a bunch of willy-nilly stuff. And again, if I'm scoring the fight, I'm not scoring that anything. I mean, that's garbage. Like that's not being aggressive. That's just ducking your head down and hoping you hit something. Like it's not really again, that's not real ring generalship as far as I'm concerned. If you're standing up, you throw a shot, then all of a sudden you just throw your head down and start doing this kind of stuff. I again, we must be seeing two different fights. Um, I think Acosta's doing a much better job in landing the cleaner punches. Should be up and wake as I start to yawn. They show Terrence Crawford entering the backstage area, the corner here with Keyshawn Davis. Hmm. Interesting. No Shakur Stevenson out there. I know he's friends with Keyshawn. Um, at least I don't see him in the locker room. I do show the younger of the two Davis brothers. Troy Isley's also back there. And then Bo Mack obviously back there as well. So again, that's one of those things here with Terrence Crawford that I think in many ways may keep him at the top of his game as he's working with so many young fighters who are coming through the B&B gym up there in Omaha. This help maybe keeping him young and keeping him energized and keeping him enthused about the sport and keeping him wanting to still be the best because he's seeing these young lions weight classes below him, but also wanting they want a top spot in the sport. And I think when you see that kind of energy and attitude from young fighters that you're working with is it's going to push you. So, salute to him because some guys could have egos and not want some of these young guys around them or in their gym or wanting to spread knowledge with them and share the game. And Terrence seems more than willing to do that. And I wish there was more fighters who do that and who are willing to give the game up like that. I know, a lot of the saying is the game is be sold, not told. And a lot of the top guys don't want to give that away, especially if they're not making money off of you, quote unquote. Like if you're not being promoted by them or you're signed to them. That's not the scenario here. Like Terrence literally wants to see these young guys do well and willing to give information and and again the game and the knowledge he has and pass it on to them and hope they pass it on to the next person. So salute to Terrence Crawford. Oh, overhand right. Well, again, one of those weird sloppy punches from Giron actually just dropped Acosta here in the fifth round. I have to see on replay how clean that of a shot that was, but did set Acosta on his butt. I don't think he's really hurt now. Giron again, he's kind of setting down on his punches and trying to throw some big hooks. Nice uppercut there inside. Acosta may be a little bit hurt as he's now starting to clinch. Again, there in the clinch, Acosta eats an uppercut. Hmm. Let's see. Okay, well, Acosta's kind of right back in. He's back to throwing the jab, back to trying to keep his distance. One thing I don't like from Giron is Giron's mouth is wide open. Um, I didn't really pay attention to much of that here in the first four rounds, but I'm noticing he's like, oh, my mouth is pause. His mouth is wide open here right now in the fifth. Now he's got Acosta against the ropes, and again was not able to land anything clean. He throws a lot of wild shots. This Giron guy, um, I just don't like that. Those shots are just all over the damn place. Little swelling here around the right eye. A little bit of abrasion below the right eye here on Acosta as well. His corner's telling him it's no longer a boxing match, it's kind of a brawl. I don't know if that's really what you want to tell your guy because I think he's doing a good job of actually boxing. So, yeah, so what ended up okay, I see what he got caught with. Then they're in tight little infighting, and it's as they separate a nice right there, kind of a short hook from Giron. Caught him flush, did catch Acosta flush and set him down, but Costa kind of popped right back up. So I'd say that's a flash knockdown. And again, Giron, as we start here, the sixth round, a lot of the same kind of punches, these wild winging shots. Um, Now, oddly enough, they're saying Giron's landed the more power punches here through five rounds, 68 to 38. I don't. I can definitely see that in the fifth round here with him scoring the knockdown. He did land some more shots. But again, I don't know if he's landed that many of these shots because these shits are wild and he's missing them. Again, maybe I'm watching a different fight. Maybe it's a different perspective, me watching it at home. But I ain't seeing what they seeing. Hmm. Yeah, I think this is a little bit of slanted commentary from these guys. While Giron is landing some good shots, like Acosta just landed like a combination, and they're talking about the angles that Giron's is throwing his punches at, and then he swings and misses. So I think the fight's probably a little bit closer. Giron may be up now with the knockdown. Um, but again, he's missing more than he's landing as far as I'm concerned, from what I'm seeing. And again, these misses are wild swinging punches. Now, what Acosta shouldn't do and how he got caught and knocked down last time is he's making this a close kind of phone booth fight again. A lot of infighting here. When they're doing the infighting, Giron is getting the better of the two because a lot of times when they're breaking, Acosta's like almost like he's just straight up and he is being left open for one of those overhands to be thrown. Um, He's just really in. He's not in a real good position now. He's not in a good position to, for the simple fact of, and I'll give Giron his credit here from watching him here through 6 rounds now. Giron does throw shots and punches from such obscure angles, kind of, and I'm saying he is, but puts your mind a little bit of excuse me, Emmanuel Navarrete, and just the weird angles and trajectory these punches will come from. And you can't train for that. Like, that's some shit you just can't do. Like, you can watch the video of it, you know it's gonna happen, but you can't train for that. Like, you don't know where that shit's coming from when guys like that are throwing punches. And I think that's kind of what's throwing Acosta off, is he is getting and seeing shots from such weird, obscure angles here from Giron that could be throwing him off for a loop. But again, I think he was doing a better job early in the fight in these early rounds of boxing. But right now, Giron may be edging him out a little bit. Looks like they're both kind of slowing down a bit, but we got 2 rounds left here. And then we'll be going here 9:15 here. So we got 15 minutes before they'll be moving over to ESPN, which means the main card will be starting. And hopefully, good God, hopefully I can make it until then. It's going to be a cup of coffee day tomorrow morning. I can see that already. Um, all right. They show a little vignette there of Teofimo Lopez leading up to the fight here as we start now round number 7. It's okay, Acosta. Acosta is again boxing, but he's a good gap, good movement here from Giron to not get hit with any of these stuff. I mean, he's staying really on the outside. Um, Again, when he's going, when he is closing the gap and going inside Giron, he's dropping his head and he's just throwing these wild winging punches. And again, for me, I'm just not a fan of that. That's not boxing to me. It's kind of one of those things that, Sean Porter did a lot, and I used to find his fights to be fucking awful to watch. And maybe he's the reason why I hate that style. But I will say, and I can maybe see Tim Bradley's perspective a little bit here, is Giron just doesn't stop throwing punches again. It puts you in the mind of Navarrete to where, after these breaks, after they step apart, he's just swinging and throwing stuff, whether it's an uppercut, it's a wild overhand, it's something. He's constantly keeping his hands moving, and salute to him for that. Like, he's staying busy with that. Huh. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Again, just kind of working on the outside, working off of the jab here for Costa. I don't know if it's um, um, Garon taking a round off. Good jab there here by Costa. I think he's much more better round for him here. I think he's taking control. But again, Giron is throwing these wild looping shots, um, to where Acosta lands a shot, but Giron comes in, kind of smothers his offense, and then as they separate, throw some sort of winging shot of some sorts, and a couple of these winging shots have landed. I'm gonna give that round to Acosta. Um, with us having the knockdown in the round, I don't know. I have no idea how to score this. But we're about to enter the 8th and final round. Is that continuing on? But yeah, he's gonna really have somebody's gonna have to really do something here, and I think it's gonna be more on Acosta because to hear Tim Bradley tell it he's losing the fight and losing it bad. His corner, Acosta's corner, is right now telling him that he's capable of doing this, um, and urging him on. Um, so I think even Acosta's corner think he's down. I think he's really going to need to step it up here. So we'll see how this plays out here in the eighth round. Acosta is coming out a little bit more aggressive here, but Giron, to his credit, man, he's a feisty little dude, man. He's just again, he's throwing as many punches as humanly bleeping possible. Whether they're landing or not, I mean, any opportunity he has, um, after these separations, these breaks, he's throwing something, and there something's landing. Again, that's how he's able to score the knockdown. Um, Couple nice body shots there, but again, he presses him up against the ropes. It's going to be interesting here. I think Iran's going to probably try to, especially as this last minute of the round happens. I'd look for him to kind of smother the offense of Acosta. Acosta's going to have a tough time, really. He's trying to work off the jab to try to get inside, but again, Giron's style is making him smother his offense. Um, So Acosta really can't get off any shots again. It's a little bit more tying up here now. So Acosta needs to get some punches off because again, either he's down or it could be tied, but um, that offense is getting smothered. So hmm. All right, last 40 seconds here of the round and of the fight. It's a wild scramble here. These last 30 seconds, I mean, these guys are just throwing such willy-nilly shots here. Giron almost, falling face first on the canvas from just throwing wild shots and having his head way in front of his body and just throwing these punches here. So I don't know. I think Giron's going to probably end up winning on the cards here by a point or two. I think the knockdown is probably going to be the biggest difference there, but he needs to polish up a lot. I don't think Acosta has really nothing to be ashamed of. This is one of these weird opponents. Would have been tough to deal with a guy like this who throws this many punches and has that much energy in ring. But he tried his best to just kind of stay off the distance, work off the jab, and throw punches early and just outbox him. And he did a real good job of that. And they're showing that here on the replay. But again, it was just Giron. When he had these opportunities again after they, were it's separating, they, pull apart. He's throwing these punches. And that knockdown, again, was just one of those where he caught um, Acosta in between, right off the clinch, and Acosta throwing a right hand and him countering with his own right hand. So, but Acosta a couple times buck with the legs here of him. So, I don't know. I mean, solid fight, but styles make fights. This is a very nasty style for both these guys. So, yeah. But we're inching closer and closer to the main card. I'm gonna try my best to hang in there, y'all. But I'm running on fumes, man. Long work day, and then all these fights going long. Really, I think what a couple stoppages, and that's it. So, hmm, very various scores. Um, but a still unanimous decision will fear for Giron. Acosta didn't seem to protest that or be upset with those at all. So, all right, folks. Showing the guys getting their hands wrapped here. Keyshawn Davis warming up, so looks like he'll be hitting the ring here soon. Hopefully, right at um, the 30-minute mark here, which is about 4 minutes away. Um, these guys actually hit the ring and they start with that bout and not dilly dally around um, with a bunch of fluffer and hearing Joe Tessitore talk. We can just get straight to the fights. Um, I don't know if there's any. I have to look here on my ESPN or here look on my app. I don't know if there's um, any so where I'm looking for here. Um, college basketball on. I guess not because it looks like there isn't. So I can't tell if that's still going on or not. So yeah, it looks like we'll be going right to the fight here the 30 at the 30 at 9:30 here Central Standard Time. So yeah, so that's a good thing. Now I'll also say this, and I'm not again not trying to bag on Top Rank at all, but I'm looking at this and when they're showing the wide shot here of the crowd, it's a little empty in that arena. It's not a full capacity, and I know for anyone who's been out in Vegas fight weekends or to a fight, you'll understand this when I say this. It's very odd that you spend all of that money on um on a fight card or to go see fights, and you have people who won't arrive until the main event. Now, granted, I know that may be the only fight. That's the main reason you're there is to watch the main event. But if you're spending all that money on tickets, um, when I'm not as media, and I actually sometimes, a lot of times, go to fights just as a fan, I'm going to go and enjoy the whole fight card because that's what the hell I paid for. I've never understood those who buy tickets to fights and then just show up just for the main event. Like, yeah, I don't feel like sitting around watching this other stuff. I'm gonna just watch just the main event, and that does happen from time to time, and that's very weird to me. You spend that money on a fight ticket just to watch one fight, then you're trying to get in there and get yourself situated before the main event. That's when you're trying to figure out the ring walk, and you'll see a lot of that out there in Vegas. I've just never understood that. It's always kind of been one of those things that's never really said well with me. I've always felt it to be, like I said, felt it to be very annoying. And it kind of, in some ways, it feels kind of disrespectful to the other guys on the fight card or ladies on the fight card that you just show up for one fight. Those are casual fans, and again, I know promoters don't care one way or the other because hell, um, shit, they're gonna get paid regardless, whether you watch one fight, no fight, or anything. And I've known people who've done that as well, who've bought fight tickets, been too inebriated to actually make it to the fight. That actually happens quite common and often as well out there. So it is what it is with that. So hey, but we're hopefully going to be starting sooner than later here on television. So God, let's hope these fights end fast. I don't know. So, in regards to Pedraza and Davis, I don't see this ending quickly. I think there's still enough tread left on the tire of Pedraza to where he's going to give Keyshawn Davis a fight. He's going to he's not going to punk out, if you will. He's going to actually he's going to be professional resistance, as I like to say, and I'm going to say for the record, I was the first one to say that, not Steve Kim. I will maintain that I was the first one to use that phrase. He's going to give him some professional resistance to where he's going to be a legitimate opponent in there for Keyshawn Davis. I don't think this is going to be him just completely steamrolling him at all. So keep that in mind. I think this will actually be a actual contest for him, and not some nonsense. I don't think this is going to be a fight to where he's just going to just steamroll him, take him out within less than 4 rounds. I just don't see that. I think Pedraza has enough in the tank. Now, I wouldn't also be shocked if Davis does catch him and able to stop him, but it's gonna at least go 5 to 6 rounds at the bare minimum. Um, I do kind of think in the back of my mind here, as you're starting the live portion here of the card, I do think there's a pretty good chance that Keyshawn Davis wants to make a statement and um actually do something here in regards to um doing something here to, make a statement in regards to, hey, I'm here. I'm 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 a threat contender, whatever words you want to use. Um so I don't know. It'll be interesting and fun to see. I think this is a real good test for him. Um I I'm glad this is the opponent. I know we're getting it a little bit later than what we wanted to, due to the positive drug test that he had. But that being Keyshawn Davis. So yeah. Okay, and looks like we're getting more. Okay, they're already ringside. Okay, all right. Well, that makes me feel a lot better. I thought they were gonna go straight to like the desk there, but they're at the table here with here. So they're gonna talk here. I'm gonna send out some more tweets here again. For those watching, if you're watching even the replay, thank you for listening on. I think this is something I may do more because this is just kind of fun. Just me talking out loud. Um, I do this, from time to time, even when I'm alone watching boxing, I'm talking out loud while watching the fights. So hell, why not put on the YouTube channel? Why not get some views? Why not interact, engage with other boxing fans? So there you go. And again, I have to say this: no video, for obvious reasons. I don't want to get my shit yanked here by Top Rank or YouTube. Don't want to piss off Top Rank. They've been good to me, so don't want to piss those guys off. Um, so oh god, I'm glad you guys can't hear this. It looks like Keyshawn Davis is going to be coming out with some kind of struggle rap. Um, those are the worst. I just want to know at what point are we going to have guys stop bringing out rappers to do their ring walk? That is the most annoying shit there is. Again, man, it's so bad. Um, they have these guys come out, the mic's all muffled. Um, they sing some song I probably have not heard of, showing my age, and the shit just sounds bad. They try to nod along at hype, but it's just awful. Just don't come out. Just have recorded music. It's better than the struggle rap that we have that these fighters come out with. And as well, speaking of that, let me go on a quick rant about that here before we have Davis Pedraza. UK fighters, man, y'all got some real shitty taste in music in regards to ring walk stuff. It's weird. I don't know how to describe it. It's just weird. Um, yeah, just odd music. So Pedraza's coming to the ring. This is a guy who, keep in mind, he went up in weight, now coming down in weight here for this fight here, 135. I don't know. I'm just kind of looking, and he looks okay. And he also looks a little frail. And okay. So I don't know who this guy is. And I can tell from the guys here walking, like the security, and I don't know if that's the athletic commission here for Nevada. They just look annoyed as fuck of seeing this fat dude with all this costume jewelry on um come out to the ring, and they're like, dude, just get to the ring already. Obviously he's lip syncing. I don't think they gave him a live mic from what I'm hearing from the audio. I can't make out what this stuff is. It is probably horrible. Just guessing. Just knowing what I know is probably just god awful. Um, so yeah, this shit's whack. And I like Keyshawn Davis. So now the video should be here on the YouTube channel. I did an interview with him like here 2 years ago when I was out there for Shakur, and was that Valdez? Did he fall? I didn't forgot who that fight was. Yeah, for Shakur Stevenson's fight out there here, April of 22. Yeah, that would have been 22. Interviewed him. Very nice guy. Short, but again, I'm kind of a fat ass, so everybody's small compared to me. Um, Nice young man. Really do think that um, a win here tonight, I think, is really going to um, boost what he does next and where he goes next. And I'm leaning more and more towards, yeah, it was Valdez that Stevenson fought. I'm leaning more and more towards that. A win here tonight, especially if it's in convincing fashion, um, he's going to be headlining cards. Now, maybe in smaller arenas, maybe even in his hometown to kind of build that buzz and, get people out. But he's going to be headlining his own fight cards going forward, and I think tonight's going to be very important for him to have a good showing. So let's see what he does here. Jose Pedraza is 25, 29 and 5. Said he was 34. I thought he was a little bit younger than a little bit older than that, excuse me. Um, so yeah, Mark Chinook's battling. He's giving out the wrong ring colors now. All right. So 24. Oh, wow. That is a big age difference. So 24 versus 34. This is only Keyshawn Davis's 10th fight. Damn. Okay. Why did I think he's been in like more fights than that? I thought this was like his 14th or 15th fight. This is the guy's 10th fight, and he's fighting a guy who is a former champion and has fought multiple times for world championships. So, all right, salute to him. This really is Keyshawn Davis stepping up. Even at 34, I don't think Pedraza's washed. So this is a big step up for Keyshawn. I really, honest to God, thought this was like Keyshawn Davis's like 14th or 15th fight. I didn't realize this was only his 10th fight. Yeah. This made I did well for Pedraza. um, yeah, I think Pedraza's gonna get stopped. Yeah, yeah. I hate to make the last like minute decision like that, but I didn't realize it was that much of an age gap, that much of an experience gap. Ah, oof. Wow. Okay. All right. Here we go. I mean, Pedraza looks. I mean, he looks so small, especially in the core area. I mean, oof, I don't know. I don't like the way he physically looks. I don't. Okay. Right now, kind of they're both, bouncing back and forth. We're only, 40, 50 seconds in. No one's really taking control yet. You can see what Davis is trying to do. He's trying to figure out the distance, trying to gauge the timing here. And for Pedraza, I think Pedraza's wanting to kind of establish early on and earn some respect and throw some shots to kind of keep Sean off of him, to make him earn his respect there of him in the ring. So, and that's interesting. The Tim said that. So you say something I noticed as well. Pedraza's doing a lot of bouncing. Um, and that he's burning a lot of energy early on, and that will come back to haunt him. Like I said, man, I think Davis is going to get a stop. Um, after 5 rounds. Excuse me for that again. Sorry, I'm battling something here. But a lot of bouncing from Pedraza. To his credit, he is coming forward. Um, Davis does not seem to be in all intimidated by any of that. So I keep adjusting the mic. It's kind of a nervous tendency I have. Davis doesn't seem at all deterred by that. I think he's probably was prepared for Pedraza to be a little bit more of the aggressor here early on. But again, I think for Davis, just from what I'm seeing and just looking at his eyes, take the mic, sorry about that. As I look at his eyes and what they're focused on and how he's moving, he's trying to figure out the timing. And I mean, this is kind of I hate to use the word. I'm not gonna say I hate to use the word, but this is something that kind of comes up that Crawford um gym and mindset is, kind of downloading your opponent's tendencies early on, figuring out that timing. So just kind of treading water, if you will, that opening round. So you can kind of figure out, okay, what is my opponent doing? What style that they're going to come out with? And how do I counteract that? How do I take that away from him? And I think that's what we saw here in the opening round here from Keyshawn Davis. Um, it's a lot of wild swinging punches there as they both tried to close out the round. I mean, I actually may give this opening round to Pedraza just because he was a little bit more the aggressor. But yeah, I can kind of I can see already that he got countered a couple of times. A couple light touches he was getting countered with. So definitely one of those things to where he's going to get countered with something here sooner than later. But I'm also like Tim Bradley, the constant bouncing and what have you. That's a lot of energy, a lot of movement that he's doing right now that I don't think he really needs to do in there. So we will see how that works out for him as this fight goes on. I'm just checking NBA scores. Forgive me for this. My degenerate gambling side of me here as we open up round two. And again, just like oh hey, stop that audio there. Just like In the opening round, Pedraza's being the aggressor, coming out to the pushing forward. All right, Warriors won. Shout out to the Gold State Warriors. Um, Mavericks won. Okay, all right. Wow, those Milwaukee Bucks are awful with Doc Rivers. Yikes. Um, all right, Suns are winning, and okay. If I time this correctly, if everything can end in a timely fashion here on ESPN, I may be able to watch maybe the fourth quarter here, the Lakers Nuggets. So we'll be ending the broadcast as soon as the main event is over. So it looks like the Lakers and them there. Not they're still in the first half. But Pedraza right now trying to use his little bit of a height advantage here. He has over Keyshawn, but not as much bouncing here in round number two, but a lot of shoulder movement. I'm noticing. Looks like we had a head clash there. I did see Pedraza's knees buckle a little bit there with that. So they had a clash of heads there in the corner. Doesn't appear that anyone's cut. I'd be able to get a better view advantage if they actually show the fight and not Teofimo Lopez getting his hands wrapped, because I really don't give a shit about seeing him his hands wrapped. Um, huh. Yeah, I'm like Tim. I don't understand this either. So as Tim just pointed out again, this seems kind of be a weird recurring theme here tonight. You have guys trying to be inside fighters that he's trying to make it an inside fight. He's almost like he's trying to strong arm Keyshawn. And I'm noticing a couple of times here as Pedraza's kind of rushing in with these weird wild furies, he's getting caught. Um Again, Keyshawn is fighting very calm. He's not getting his mental psyche or his game plan broke. And this is really actually a very smart strategy by Pedraza against a young fighter like Keyshawn Davis, a guy who's just in his 10th fight. Um, try to go in there and just try to disrupt him. See if you can get him to mentally crack. We've seen guys like if they're not prepared for that onslaught and that rush you bring at them, they will crack. They will just say what the fuck's going on, and their brain doesn't know how to handle it's like a sensory overload. They don't know what to do, and we've seen young guys crack in fights like that. So far Keyshawn Davis has not cracked from that. He's shown great resistance of not um succumbing to the pressure Pedraza's pressing on him. um I'm going to give that round to Keyshawn. I thought he did a little better job here in regards to just kind of countering the aggressiveness of Pedraza. And I think, like I said, this may be the strategy Pedraza has to do. Now, Pedraza is actually really a boxer, but I think Keyshawn Davis is a better boxer. So I think he's realizing I'm not going to be able to outbox this guy. I'm going to have to do something to break him, have to do something different. So, yeah. Showing a Burger King commercial. Well, I would love a Burger King sponsorship here for the YouTube channel. Um, that stuff. That last time I had that did not work out for me. So, but I'd gladly take their money and sponsor their product here on the show and plug it. So, um, again, we start the third round just like we started the first two rounds with Pedraza being the aggressor, pushing forward. He's now he's now worked Keyshawn Davis into the corner now twice in the first 20 seconds of the round. He worked him into the, kind of rushed him and had him in the corner. Keyshawn circled out and then getting rushed into the opposite corner there here. But you can tell, yeah. Keyshawn's landing some shots, and he is now stopping Pedraza in his tracks. Um, he's got Pedraza up against the ropes. Pedraza's throwing some shots off. Now Pedraza needs to circle. Don't just stand there. He's got to circle. And I did just notice something though. When he tried to step out there, his legs looked a little shaky. Yeah, yeah. And Keyshawn is yep. Yeah, he's got him hurt. Yep. Pedraza's not throwing anything. Davis is throwing hooks. Nice body shot there. Pedraza's answering back now with his own little fury, uh, fury flurry. You know what I mean? There. Huh. But definitely, we're seeing Pedraza get hurt because he was there up against those ropes and he was taking some shots. Thought he was going to go down, but to his credit, he ate those and fired back. And while he hasn't turned the tide yet here in the round, he does show that he's at least still in it. Now, if I'm Davis and I'm noticing him mixing it up a little bit, but maybe mix it a little bit more, throw some body shots and make Pedraza weary of those, um, and not just headhunt here. Now, again, what Pedraza's trying to do is he's trying to smother the offense here of Davis. But yeah, Pedraza's legs and Tim's hitting it right on the head. Pedraza's legs are just they're shot. Um, they're not really like he's got a lot of that no bounce on those legs at all. Um, I'm looking at his legs. His legs, I mean, both these guys, I mean, mind you, they're fighting at 135. Both these guys' legs just look small as hell. So I mean, no calf talk tonight. But Davis is gonna just pretty much be able to sharpshoot for the most part if Pedraza doesn't get his legs back underneath him because they're dragging right now. Um, Pedraza's doing a decent job of kind of trying to throw some punches back and smothering the offense a little bit here. Um, but yeah, he kind of looks a little bit wobbly as we go here to the end of the third round and we go here to the fourth. Keyshawn's in control. I said 5 or 6 rounds. We're about to enter round number 4, so it looks like that's coming to fruition because he's definitely landed a lot of clean shots there on Pedraza in the third round. Now, what he's got to be careful of um, here in the fourth round is don't blow your wad. Don't punch yourself out. If the shots are there, take them. But again, he also needs to work his body. Work that body, break down that body. That's going to make Pedraza drop his arms and drop his guard. You're going to have an opportunity to get some of those headshots in that you're trying to land. So I think that's the direction he needs to go. Work the body here in the fourth round. Try to work a little bit, maybe more on the outside, and not get your offense get suffocated by Pedraza, who keeps trying to lean in forward and trying to make it a little bit more of an infight to attempt to slow Keyshawn Davis down. Um, Doctors right now are looking at the right eye of Pedraza. I didn't know it's not a cut there, so I don't know what the hell they're looking at his eye for. This is something I'm missing, but yeah, they're looking at his eye. And all right, we're starting here the fourth round. That seems kind of weird. But yeah, no. All right, but again, just like I'm noticing. I mean, he's at least consistent with the same thing here. All 3 prior rounds and now the fourth round. Pedraza is starting off the round strong. He is starting off the round strong by going forward, trying to be the aggressor. The thing is, he just can't keep that up for 3 minutes, and he's slowing down or he's getting countered. Right now he had Davis against the ropes. Davis circles out, and then Pedraza again. Um, I okay, something that is also annoying me. I don't need to see these guys get their hand wrapped. Go to the full screen of the actual fight that's occurring. That shit's annoying, man. I don't need to see them getting their hand wrapped and Joe Tessitore sound like he's about to have an orgasm talking about the main event. Okay, we get it, Joe. But we got a fight going on right now. Let's focus on the two guys here in ring. Um, and again, Pedraza's trying to clinch, trying to suffocate a little bit of the offense here for Davis. And I think if I heard right from Bernardo Osuna, he was saying Pedraza's corner is telling him to go out there and actually try to box, which would be smart at this rate. But I don't think from a skill set aspect for the 34-year-old Pedraza, I don't think he can outbox and win a boxing match against Keyshawn Davis. I think Keyshawn Davis is a much better boxer. And as we're noticing right now in this exchange they're having, that Davis is landing the shots and landing the combinations. Now just getting 8 with the jab. It's 3 straight jabs Pedraza took. Now, if Davis was smart and if he, he's knowing the doctor's already looking at that right eye, Pedraza, start targeting that. It does look like it's a little bit of swelling that's there. I wish the camera would focus a little bit more in that so I can see exactly what the issue is there. Um, Davis is also throwing some more body shots here this round, which is something else I want to see him do more of. Um, but something Tim is bringing up, and again, I'll reiterate as well that I was saying, just come seeing him in the ring. I don't like that Pedraza came down in weight. He doesn't look healthy. That doesn't look healthy. I mean, he's in shape and what have you, but he just looks very gaunt body wise, and I don't know, maybe because I'm fat, but I'm not liking what I'm seeing here out of him. Um, I don't know, Pedraza survives another round, but I think he's down. Like I said, I gave him the opening round for being a little bit more the aggressor and aggressive in the opening round. But he's lost these last 3, and he's getting tagged. And obviously, the doctors are seeing something. He's got some sort of damage to that right eye. They're at a commercial break, so I can't. Like I said, I wish they would actually show something to see what's wrong with it. I can't tell if there's any swelling or there's no cut because I'm not seeing any blood. But there's obviously some sort of swelling that they are concerned with. Not a good sign as we go in here to the 5th round. Again, I said 5 or 6 rounds. We're entering the 5th. So we're on the clock to see if Pedraza gets stopped, which I have a feeling is coming. Uh, but again, more commercials. Something else that annoys me here about ESPN Plus. If I'm paying you this money for ESPN Plus, I shouldn't get commercials. So, okay. So Mark Kriegel has it 40-36 through 4 clean sweep so far for Keyshawn Davis. Like I said, I'm giving the opening round to Pedraza, but I'm perfectly fine if you see it the other way. Opening rounds are typically hard to gauge for the most part. Um, okay, slippage there to where Keyshawn Davis falls down. It's a little bit here. I think he was just kind of out of position, lost his balance. But I think one thing Pedraza probably is realizing here as this fight is wearing on, he can't out muscle Keyshawn. I don't know if he thought, with him going up in weight and then coming down, if he may be the naturally stronger of the two. That 10-year age gap, you're going against that young man strength, bro. You're not going to be stronger than this man. So, now one thing that Keyshawn has done quite a few times, and I know he's already got a warning about, is leaning down on Pedraza. And I'm noticing that here as they tie up. I gotta say the referee should be doing a little bit better job of breaking him up, but that's neither here nor there. Um, not I'm not really feeling this. The action here in this 5th round. Lot of tying up here from both of these guys. Um, again, Pedraza's trying to impose his will, but he just can't. And unlike the prior fight, when Keyshawn is on the ropes, he's circling off the ropes, doing a good job. He's not staying there, being a stationary target to get hit here by Pedraza. Sounds like the crowd's kind of getting a little bit restless here. I hear some murmurings of boo there in the back. Like I said, this isn't as much of a action-packed round. Um, Again, man, then when these in locker room interviews are interviewing here, Teofimo Lopez here. Not as much great action here in the fifth round from these two guys here. Huh. Abdullah Mason is now 12-0. He's got more fights than than Keyshawn Davis. That's wild. Again, man, I can't see what's happening in between in between the rounds. Um, what's being said in the corners because they're doing all these weird interviews. They're doing these weird split screens. Um, so again, as we start here, the sixth, Pedraza being the aggressor, again trying to impose some kind of will, some sort of something on Keyshawn Davis, and he's not really working too well doing that. So there's that. Um, so yeah. Let's see if he can do some more countering here. So, okay. Nice shot there by Keyshawn. Okay. Body work, two good body shots there. Now the head and it sends Pedraza back. Pedraza has just snapped back, and he's now opened up a cut there above that right eye. And Pedraza's now he's hurt. And he's going back again. So Pedraza's gonna have to. Oh wow. And the fight's over. It's a wrap. 6 rounds. I said 5 or 6 rounds. Um, maybe a premature stoppage. Um, but I mean, here's the thing with that, with these stoppages. So it's in two folds. You always have to err on the side of caution because you don't want these fighters taking one too many shots. You never want that. So I'm okay with that. And then in the same breath, you also want to see these guys get an opportunity to defend themselves and go out on their shield. Um, but I'm not mad at that stoppage. Um, it was a cut from underneath the right eye, Pedraza, that was bleeding. I think that's what they were actually looking at the more the top of the right eye when the doctors looked at it a few rounds back. But it started to bleed, and I'm just going to be honest with it bleeding like that. It was only going to get worse as this fight went on. So again, I'm not mad at the stoppage. Um, I don't know. I was wondering, I was looking to see if like the corner threw a talent or anything like that, but I don't think they did. No, they didn't. But good. I mean, good stoppage there, um, on his behalf by Keyshawn Davis. Now, again, this is Keyshawn Davis's 10th fight. Again, only his 10th fight. Yeah, shout out to my man Carl to Carl, uh, repping repping our. He's got his blue on, so he's repping the fellow suffering Cowboy fan. Carl there at Top Rank. So, um, yeah. We're long suffering Cowboy fans. But Keyshawn looked good. So, all right, Keyshawn wins here tonight. So this is now February the 8th, Black History Month, by the way. With him winning here on the 8th of February. Obviously, this is a fight that was supposed to happen sooner, but because of the failed drug test, they got pushed back because he got suspended. He's now off suspension. how quickly do we want to see Keyshawn Davis back in the ring? We want to see Keyshawn Davis back in the ring sooner than later. Um, um, really, he needs to be back in the ring May, June, really no later than June. Now, here's the thing with that. Are you ready for him to start headlining his own fights? Are you going to build him as being a guy that you want to now have challenge for a world title before this year is out? Or do you want to still kind of build him as being the young up and coming fighter? Again, this was only his 10th fight. So it's going to be interesting to see what position and what direction they choose to go in with Keyshawn Davis going forward because, you know, 10 fights in, I don't know if I want to throw him into the title fight mix yet, but it's going to happen. I mean, he's going to be ready for that sooner than later. Now, obviously, you want to get him more as much experience as possible, but he also seems like a guy who may be ready for big things. Um, he's showing that he's the goods. I mean, he's definitely in the prospect realm, and he's definitely one of these guys you need to start talking in contender talk. So he's a fringe contender, and a fringe contender in a good way, not in a fringe contender that, oh dude who's lost fights and fought for championships or anything like that. So impressed by Keyshawn Davis. Salute to him on his victory here tonight. Yeah, they're showing this fancy little graphic of the trajectory of Jesus. Oh Lord, that was a big one. Of Teofimo Lopez's roller coaster ride here in recent years. Well, I can't. Um, I'm not going to divulge all the information I know about Teofimo Lopez. I'm not like I'm an insider, quote unquote. But talking to people who are in the sport and close to Teofimo Lopez, they're within top rank. Somebody so say within top rank. Teofimo's a weird dude. He's a very Jekyll and Hyde kind of guy. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. It's just you don't know what you're going to get out of him. You don't know what version of Teofimo Lopez you're going to get. And I think that's one of those things that makes a promoter nervous with him. And, he says some wild things. He makes some weird demands. Um, this guy was the guy who was going to retire. This guy was trying to get out of his deal with Top Rank. Um, this is the guy who re-signed several deals, had his deals modified through Top Rank. And again, who knows what the hell he's going to say here tonight. So as they're interviewing Keyshawn Davis here in the ring, gives his mom her flowers. Bo Mac there in the ring. Shout out to Bo Mac. All right, Keyshawn saying he's best 135. All right, let's see. See who Keyshawn calls out here. Damn. Okay. Keyshawn is. Oh wow. Okay, I'm very. So Keyshawn Davis calls out to Teofimo Lopez. If you've seen anything here during the fight week, they've had some exchanges during the presser here this week, and he's saying he'll move to 140 and fight him. He said if that can't happen, he's willing to fight Emmanuel Navarrete. Navarrete, Keyshawn Davis, sign me the fuck up. Yes, I will take that. I will. Yes. Now again, this man just fought his 10th fight. I don't. But he's the true. I'm perfectly fine with either one of those. If he dares to be great and want to move up to 140 to face Teofimo Lopez, why not? Um, I don't think that's I don't think that's a fight Teofimo Lopez would welcome, quote unquote, because I think he wants bigger fights, bigger names. But I also know this: he's underneath a promotional deal with Top Rank. Um, that's a fight they can make in house at Top Rank. Um, at the end of the day, when you sign a promotional contract, and this is something that I need fight fans to understand more and more. When you hear these fighters bitch and complain about things, you sign a contract. You know what your guarantees are. You know how many bouts you have a part of this. So, there's been, talk right now recently of Shakur Stevenson, him talking about he's retiring, now not retiring, and he was offered so much. And, you know, I will say you'll also see a trend with top ranked fighters and their attitudes and demeanors and saying they're retiring and trying to get out of their deals with top rank, their last few fights, or things go weird when there's one fight left on their deal. We've seen this before. But again, you sign a contract, you negotiate a contract. If you think you can get more money at greener pastures, have at it. So, but interesting from Keyshawn Davis being very animated there. Again, this kid's legit. Now, what I would say is this: maybe have him continue to build him. I don't like I said, the Teofimo Lopez fight. Love that he's daring to be great and wanted to have that fight, but from a marketing aspect of it, I just don't think he's as big of a fighter yet to where that fight is a big fight. Easy to make for top rank, but not a big fight. Um, the Navarrete fight, though, I'll say this: if you could do the scenario of him fight Navarrete next, beat Navarrete, who's a hell of a fighter and a tough out, he's gonna have much more of a resume to bring to the table and say, Teofimo Lopez, I'll dance with you at 140. I like that this kid wants to challenge himself. I like that. So I'm impressed by that. Now let's hope here it is now 10:12 Central Time. Let's hope when we get back from commercial break, they're actually doing ring walks and we're not having another 10 to 15 minutes of filler time. Um, um, before they get in the ring for the main event here. All right, I'm actually sending out tweeting here and keeping up nonsense as I always do. That's kind of what I do. What? Oh God. Yeah, this is the stuff that I have to deal with, man. I'm just trying to promote what I'm doing here on YouTube, and this is the kind of shit that gets tweeted to me. Let me where's the camera at? Come on, man. Like, I gotta say, man, since Elon Musk is taking over Twitter, man, it's the spam bots are just outlandishly bad. Um, they're getting blocked, by the way. Deleted. Jesus. Shout out to Jamel Hearing as well, out here doing big things. Shout out to Jamel. Shout out Champ. Um, I know Keyshawn's gonna go viral here for his call out. Now, here's the thing, and they've already pointed it out. Carl's face, who's one of the big VPs there at Top Rank, who's behind him. His face, they're gonna make a meme of that when he called out um Teofimo Lopez. We'll see. We'll see how that works out for him. But it all depends upon what happens here. Now, again, what version of Teofimo Lopez are we about to see? Are we about to see the guy who's energized and ready to fight and ready to put on a good show, or are we going to see a guy who's going to be maybe lacking focus, maybe get a little bit frustrated in ring if things aren't going to his liking early on? Jamaine Ortiz just kind of sitting there and just looking very laxed. And that now I'm seeing what also I feared. Now they're showing the guys here at the table, which means we're going to have more filler time here before we go live to the main event. Oh Lord, so now we have more filler time. Y'all are killing me. You're absolutely bleeping killing me. Um so yeah. All right, so now we have probably another 5 to 10 minutes to kill here before before we can finally get the main event on. Um, let's hope it ends fast for all parties involved, because I know my folks on the East Coast right now, for them, it's a quarter after 11. It's quarter after 10 here in the Midwest. It's still early over there, out there in Vegas. It's 8:15, or excuse me, 8:17. So, still plenty of time to get turned up in Vegas. These people are going to be able to still go and get a nice meal at a nice restaurant after the fight. Shit'll still be open, or they can hit up one of my favorite places. Go hit up Shake Shack. Matter of fact, no, they're in Mandalay Bay. Shit, what's open in Mandalay Bay this time of the night? Um, no, the Burger Bar upstairs closed, so I don't know where to even recommend their Mandalay Bay, since the last time I was there. I know they closed some places and some things changed. I do know Subway's open 24 hours there in Mandalay Bay, which is clutch. Got to do a little bit of walking to get to it. But they're open 24 hours, and that shit's clutch. Um, Trust me on this, clutch. Um, but yeah, I mean, y'all killing me. This is really, and again, I get why it's this late, because it is Vegas. The arena is actually a lot fuller from what it was when they first went on television, and they just had the clock there, so we less than 6 minutes away from them doing their ring walk here. Um, I get that, I get, they're in Vegas, so obviously you have people who show up late, but it's horrible for us in the other time zones. These late starts and whatnot. These are horrible. Hmm. Teofimo Lopez again. They're showing another vignette of him, and I think this was here after the weigh-in yesterday. He said, Ortiz didn't have to say anything. He showed him fear and all this other stuff. Everybody has a plan till they get hit in the face. Well, duh. No one wants to get hit in the face. I don't. That shit's not fun. No one wants to get hit. Period. Whether it's in your face, your arms, your chest, your gut. Like, shit hurts. No one wants to get hurt, Tiafimo. Like, no one wants to get hit. So, one thing that I will say, I'm probably going to be in the very small minority here when I say this next line, because I know they keep bringing his name up since He's a mutual opponent for both Ortiz and Lopez. But when are we going to talk about Vasily Lomachenko being on the decline? You know, a win over Lomachenko right now, for me, doesn't feel that valuable as it would have 3 to 4 years ago. It just doesn't. Um, this is a guy. I mean, I think Lomo's like maybe 36 now, or something. Like Lomo's getting up in age. So, I know his next fight is going to be against George Kambosos. Um, I'm not all wowed by that fight. I know it'll be down in Australia, be huge, and if Kambosos can pick up that win, great. But the showing Ortiz against one of the Ordano brothers. I think that's how you enunciate it. Can't remember which one he fought there. Um, I think that's the same brother. I think it's Joseph Ordano who will have a fight here next Friday on uh, Pro Box TV. Sandor Martin, I know, is also now signed a co-promotional deal here with Top Rank. I think he would love to get his hands again on Teofimo Lopez. I don't think that'll be anything that'll occur, but stranger things have happened. May set himself up in position for something down the line. But we'll see. So, all right, we got about 3 minutes here. As now they are getting to make their ring walks here and getting themselves situated here. That's hilarious. They said, "Can Teofimo Lopez win when it's quiet?" Like this fight camp this week has been drama free. That's really messed up if that's the stigma that's around you, that you always have a lot of drama and there's a lot of issues around you and problems around you when you have your fights. But they're not telling any lies there. There's no lies to be told there. He does have these instances where, um, like I said, as I said earlier, like he can sometimes can be a complete train wreck, um, especially when he has a microphone in front of him. If anyone can remember during the days of Punch the Face Radio, classic plug, when we had him on as a guest, and my man started telling the story about how Anthony Joshua went to a brothel in Brazil while they were there for the Olympics, and pretty much damn near said that Anthony Joshua went and got hookers or a hooker. Um, but he didn't finish. He said, "I'm telling too much." He pretty much told us all there, and we wanted to keep going, but he didn't. So, still to this day, my favorite interview we had on the show, because this was before he even really went crazy. Tiafimo is a very talkative and very forthcoming guy. But yeah, he told us that. We were like, whoa. So, yeah. But it looks like they're going to commercial break. When they come back, we should be finally ready for the main event here at 10:30 Central Time. Jeez, it's been a long stream. Um, this is the first one I've done of these. At first, I didn't think they were gonna let me do a live stream. Um, I was using the YouTube app and it told me I couldn't do it, couldn't do a live stream. I logged in here to the desktop version, could do it with no problem. Just to set up the microphone and the camera to make sure that they read it correctly. If they did, as I yawn. The funny thing is, once this fight card is over, again, if the Laker game is still on, I may flip over to that. Um, as tired as I am and I'm yawning, I'll probably be up another like 3 or 4 hours before I fall off to sleep, and then be in a really shitty mood all day tomorrow because of lack of sleep. So welcome to my life. But yeah. So there is that. So here we go here for the main event. Ortiz Lopez WBO championship. As far as my picks go, I think Teofimo Lopez is going to win. I have a feeling it's probably going to go the full 12, but I have also a feeling it's going to be a wide margin. Um, Ortiz almost seems a little bit too mellow. And when you have guys that are that mellow, sometimes I wonder how much self confidence they have in themselves in a fight of this magnitude. Is he already mentally defeated or what? But I do look for him to lose rather handily here. Well, um, I like Lopez here via unanimous decision. Like I said, it's going to go the full 12, probably 10-2, maybe 11-1 on the cards. And hopefully it does end soon because I'm about out of water. And I'm going to need to get some more. And my voice started to kind of get a little raspy on me here as we go on here through. We're now through 2.5 hours. Shit. Did not plan on being on this thing this long, but didn't think these other fights would go this long. So Keyshawn Davis was our saving grace with the stoppage here of Jose Pedraza. That helped cut some time down on this as well, which I'm very thankful for. So they get back from commercial break. We'll have our fight here. And then we can finally get this over with. Now, I am interested to see what bizarre rant Tiafimo is going to go on here after the fight, because there's going to be some kind of rant that's going to make absolutely no sense. And you're going to be like, what is this man talking about? It's going to be one of those. So I'm just kind of in wait and see mode of how bad or how weird it'll be, because it's going to happen. There's no way around that. It's going to be one of those where it's going to happen. And yeah, but that's the part for me that's intriguing. Is okay. He's going to go on a rant. What is it going to be about? Who is he going to call out? Um, and then seeing what he does from there. So now we get another video vignette here as we are still waiting for them to come back from break, and they actually walk back to the ring, do the ring walks. Forgive me here, I'm conducting a little bit of business here as we wait for them to come back with actual live fights. Ortiz, to his credit, the guy was fighting on smaller, kind of club show level fight cards up in the Northeast through, I think it is it CES, Classic Entertainment and Sports. I think that's who it is that's up there. Or it might have been Star Boxing in, it might have been Star Boxing. It's one of those two. He was fighting and having cards on up there, up in pretty much the New England area, and got a lot of bouts. So, he's worked his way into this. He's fought tough against a lot of guys. So, he's earned this right. And Ortiz is now walking to the ring now. And Ortiz is coming out with another struggle rap. Another guy who looks like they just gave him a mic And he's lip syncing here, which is probably the safest thing to do in these kind of fights. Being in on broadcast television, you don't know what the hell they're going to say in front of a live mic. Again, some musical sensation named Darrell, according to Joe Tessitore, that I've never heard of. But he also sounds like he's doing some sort of reggaeton music, which I have no idea what any of that stuff's about because I don't listen to reggaeton. So we're gonna just kind of continue to kind of scroll through some things here on social media as we wait for the fight to actually start again. Man, I thoroughly fucking hate struggle rap. Oh God, it's so annoying. Like I'll say this, man. Um, that's interesting. According to an email, I got someone wants to buy my house. I didn't know I owned a house, but that's cool. Okay, we'll mark that as spam. Yeah, that's something. If I was in control of boxing, we would get rid of. Like, you can't come out to the ring with like this kind of shit. Um, Pick a song, come out to it, keep that shit moving. We don't need to delay anything any further. And also get rid of the anthems. Like, we don't need anthems. Like, we already know what country we're in. Like, I don't need your anthem of your country, your respective country played. Like, dude, we came here to see you box. And I wouldn't have to pay the people who sing the anthems. Yeah, save money. Yeah, think about it. So, all right, struggle rap is still going on as these young men are just now getting in the ring. Hmm. Oh God. So, wow. Well, this is interesting. So, with this being a little bit bigger arena, and I kind of remember this when I was there for Crawford Porter, the entrance for Teofimo Lopez here is he's got like circus acts here at his entrance. Got a guy who's just swallowed some swords, which is very weird. You got some like jugglers. You have a ringmaster. You have a fat drag queen, I think. And you have Teofimo Lopez with the ringmaster hat on. Like he had some women like with some hula hoops, people on stilts with some strings. Okay, well, this could gotta kind of go a lot of different ways. I don't know if this is. He said he wanted an overtop entrance. I don't know if I can consider this over the top. It's interesting, weird, but okay. But to his credit, he's enjoying the moment. You know, I can't be mad at him. I'll take this over struggle rap all day. Um, Slow walk to the ring, and again, nice outfit here is him being the quote unquote ring master, master of ceremonies here, and he's got all of the circus act people following him to the ring as he's walking there in. For those who have never been to the arena there inside of Mandalay Bay, it's actually a lot bigger than what I thought it was. Um, Obviously, they have WNBA basketball there for the Las Vegas Aces play, so it's actually a pretty good sized arena. I mean, it's obviously not as big as the T Mobile, a little bit further down the street from it, but it's a pretty good size. It has boxes upstairs for the media, which also are pretty decent seats as well. Uh, but yeah, yeah. So it looks like it did pretty well. Pretty large number of folks there. I do see some still some pockets, some empty seats. You know, I understand Top Rank's um intentions here because they did the same thing with Formula One, which of course Stevenson finding out there during that week is they were trying to piggyback on an event already happening there in that city and thinking they would get the runoff of people being there or those arriving early. Um, I don't know if how many celebrities, quote unquote, were there. They didn't do those celebrity shots or weird photo ops like sometimes like top rank, not top rank, like PBC would do when during a Tank Davis fight. So I don't know who all celebrity wise is or isn't there at the fight. But again, I get what they were doing. I'm not mad at it. Hopefully they had good numbers and a good gate here. It's an interesting fight. I mean, it's probably not the fight we wanted to see here this weekend or this week there in Vegas for Teofimo Lopez. I'll also say this one thing that kind of deterred me from going out there this week is I couldn't afford it. like, like I'm not poor by no stretch, but for that weekend in Vegas and this week right now in Vegas, um, it's hard to get rooms, especially Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, even going to Monday and Tuesday of next week. Um, Especially here starting Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And like I said, even Monday, because a lot of people still be in town after the Super Bowl on Sunday. You can't, like, the rooms are ridiculously high. And even for someone like me who has rewards and all that, you just couldn't do it. And this was something I wouldn't mind seeing, but a lot of the places weren't letting you book a hotel room unless you were booking certain section of days. Like I couldn't do a Tuesday and leave check out Friday morning. Like you had to bundle, like be there, like starting on a Thursday through Sunday or through Monday. And it just money wise just didn't make sense. So Teofimo Lopez is a guy I do want to see fight in person. Hopefully his next time around, I will be able to see that. Especially fights out again on the West Coast, fights out in Vegas. Doubt if I ever go see him up in New York, but wouldn't mind seeing him again seeing him fight in person. Met him in person a couple times, but won't actually see him fight in person. We're just now getting the ring introductions here. They're now doing Teofimo Lopez, and they do have on the graphic his one loss to George Kambosos. So people on Twitter and social media can calm down. Yes, they did acknowledge he did lose to George Kambosos. So so you have that part there. So that is there. Um, but yeah, so they're showing him and all of his belts here. All right, man. Are they gonna get on with this or what? All right. So here we finally go. Okay. Tiafimo taking the center ring here early. Southpaw stands here by Ortiz, which he said he was going to probably do at some point. Wasn't sure he was going to actually start the fight coming out here via southpaw. One thing I'm noticing here with Lopez, you're early on. He's got his hands real low. So I don't know if that's already kind of showing a level of, but that's kind of Lopez's style. It's kind of showing a level of disrespect here in regards to uh, Ortiz here. Just hands real low. I think Lopez is going to kind of depend upon him being able to sharpshoot and get off a punch first before he gets one landed on him. Yeah, he's done. I'm noticing Lopez does actually have really fast hands. Um, I don't know why I never noticed that before. He does, and maybe that's why he kind of has the defensive style he has. But he's kind of staying in the middle of the ring, kind of doing the stalking here of Ortiz. Ortiz trying to get his jab established here as he tries to take the center of the ring. I think for the most important part here for Ortiz here, especially early on, is just remaining calm. Settle in, stay settled down, just remain calm and not get the jitters. This is obviously a huge position for him. I mean, but he's been here before with the Lomachenko fight, so he shouldn't be rattled about the big stage. Obviously, this is a title fight, so this makes this a little bit different. But just stay calm, don't rush, just kind of settle in. So far, a lot of, I mean, they're throwing punches, a lot of posturing here thus far, here in the opening round. I think Lopez has probably landed. Yeah, Lopez has landed the cleaner shots and been more the aggressor, so he was probably going to win here round one. I made my official pick on Twitter. I do think it's going to be a wide decision here by Lopez. Um, he said, I don't think he's going to get him. He's not going to stop him, but so let's see. Hopefully, maybe the after a round or two here, they won't go to commercial breaks. They'll just stick around here in between the rounds and show some highlights or show something here. Maybe them talking in the corner what kind of adjustments are going to get made. At least here early on, I don't think Ortiz needs to make any adjustments. It's not like he got blown out of the water here in the opening round, but he's gonna have to figure out something to make Lopez miss and make him pay. He's gonna have to counter him, find a way to counter him. But Lopez does have such fast hands, very quick reflexes. That's his defense, is just using his reflexes to move out of the way. Um, so hopefully, Ortiz can do something to make it competitive. Um, Kind of slow going here thus far, kind of a bit of a chess match. They kind of have a nice exchange here in the early part of the second round. And literally, what I'm saying, Tim Bradley's repeating after me. So I wonder if Tim Bradley's listening to this and having my commentary on his earpiece. I mean, at least give me credit. Come on, bro. Don't be stealing my shit. But again, I'm not seeing any sort of panic out of Ortiz, which makes me feel okay about this. Yeah. Um, but with him not having any panic, I don't want it to turn to him to having lack of urgency as the fight goes on either, because he can't let Teofimo Lopez rack up rounds. He can't be passive in there. He's going to have to start getting off his own offense a little bit more regular, at least even attempting to. Attempting to is, even if he doesn't get it off, if he attempts to, that's half the battle won right there. So, but Ortiz is doing a little bit better job here in round number two. Now, what they're saying here in the commentary is actually literally again how they are still in my shit. Um, about how how Ortiz can't panic or anything like that, but he's also have to get off to a faster start. I don't think he's getting off to a poor start or really a sluggish start. I think he's just fighting a smart fight thus far. He's not rushing in and leaving any openings. He's actually being the aggressor here, the back half here of this round, a little bit more. He's going to have to start making Teofimo Lopez think, and Lopez being the guy who has to react um, to what he's doing. Now, we'll say there's a lot of wild swinging punches from both these guys here as we close out round number two. I'm actually going to give round number two here to Jamaine Ortiz. Thought he did a little bit better job, a little bit more um, of the aggressor, but again, it's still not a lot's being thrown, not a lot's being done by either guy to where I am wowed by anything I'm seeing thus far from either one. Again, styles make fights. Somebody's going to have to make a mistake for this to become um, competitive here as we push on here throughout the fight. And my congestion, my cold is really starting to get the best of me, and this stuff is starting to suck. So, bright side is we only have 10 rounds left, folks, and you've rocked with me, listen this far, so you'll be all right. Oscar De La Hoya's ringside as they show him. Shout out to Oscar De La Hoya. Another person I've seen in person, a lot shorter than what I thought it would be. It's not like I'm some kind of damn Yeti or anything like that, but it's weird you see guys who you watch box for years and you see them in person. You're like, well, I'd be damn, I didn't realize you're that short. Same way with Roy Jones Jr., really tiny guy. All right, we start off here round number three. Teofimo Lopez again takes the center of the ring, is the aggressor. But Ortiz, and I mean this in this. Hopefully, you guys understand what I mean by this. He's not scared in there. Like he really is pressing. He's counter punching. He's trying to press forward. Um, he's not being timid as much. He's trying to figure out something to do in there to try to score some offense. But just so far, he's just not doing enough. Again, one thing that Lopez is going to have a big advantage of over a vast majority of his opponents is he's just got really great reflexes. Um, that's one of those things you can't teach. This is something you can clearly sell is just his natural ability. His reflexes are just outstanding. So tilt the mic here a little bit this way as I look a little bit more this way and ignore the stuff in the background. It's shit. I sell stuff online, so it's shit there. So don't pay that no attention. Cool posters in the back, those signs. But so right now, a little bit better exchange here, and again, and this is one thing I will say with this. Ortiz just landed a nice little flurry there. Not all the shots landed, but he was the aggressor. He showed some aggression, and he made Lopez have to kind of move around and get off the ropes there and smiling and all that. But I will say this: when you see Lopez doing that, I don't think I think that's a sign of frustration. So remember that in the Cambosa's fight, we saw him doing a lot of that smiling and whatnot, and some of that is just frustration. Um, he could be getting a little bit frustrated, or some of those shots might have hit him, and he might be trying to figure out, okay, what the hell is he doing? So I don't like when I see Lopez doing that. But really, it seems like in both these guys' cases, just watching their interaction is they're both waiting for the other one to make a mistake and then to counter. Um, while they are throwing punches and what have you, it's a lot of countering back and forth. One throws something, I'm throwing right back at you. So it's a lot of counter action amongst these two thus far. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. Um, does make it a little bit tougher to score. I thought by now, or, Lopez would be taking a little bit more of a command here of the fight, but he's not doing that thus far. So again, I knew he wasn't going to blow him out the water, and I didn't really want that anyway. I kind of wanted something to be competitive here tonight, but little bit surprised he hasn't taken more charge yet and leading the way. But hey, Ortiz is not just there to be an opponent, not there to just get a check. He's there to fight, so that's what he's doing here thus far. Um, but it's close. It's still kind of a close, interesting fight. Okay, Ortiz again, kind of a little bit more pep in the step. I've noticed these last two rounds opening up. So we're gonna hear the fourth round. Hmm. And they're showing there from, well, hey, if you're watching along, they just showed there the replay from the Fury. I keep saying Fury, the flurry that Ortiz had thrown in the third round. How pretty much nothing landed on Lopez, as Lopez was kind of on the ropes, moving the shoulders and smiling. So he knew it wasn't hitting him, but nevertheless, I don't know. I think at some point, and maybe what Lopez had brought up to Harvey Dock there during the referee instructions, Ortiz may have to make this a little bit dirty. Like he's gonna need to do something, because if Lopez starts getting too comfortable in there and start having his way, and he's already kind of doing a little bit of showboating here in the fourth round. Nice left hand there by Lopez. The more comfortable Lopez gets, the more Ortiz is in trouble, because if Ortiz isn't throwing anything that's going to deter, um, distract, discourage Lopez, Lopez is going to continue to come forward. And thus far, Ortiz isn't doing enough to deter Lopez from coming forward. And I think, and Tim Bradley's pointing this out right now on the broadcast, and I would agree. I think Lopez is starting to figure out the timing a little bit more of Ortiz, even egging him on, telling him to come forward. And as he fights up against the corner there, I don't know if that was real wise. Now these shots are actually landing this time. So Lopez invites Jamaine Ortiz into the corner, and Lopez actually got the worst of that exchange. Like it was some nice body shots landed there by Ortiz. I mean, it wasn't anything that's um earth shattering, but definitely um scored. So short right hook from Ortiz there on the counter. Again, that's the theme here. It's just a lot of countering back and forth from both these guys. Again, some of these rounds are weird to score. Again, I'm a little bit disappointed that Lopez isn't taking control yet and taking a real strong grasp of this fight. But he's just not yet. I mean, again, you got to give part of that credit to Ortiz for doing his part. Not just again, he's not there just to be an opponent. He's not just standing there to be target practice. He's there to actually win the fight. So, um, but yeah, yeah, okay. As I'm noticing on social media, as I brought up earlier here, a lot of people complaining about the commercials here during the fight. Completely agree. Again, we pay for ESPN Plus. You would think they would get rid of commercials for us by now. Um, but hey, especially if you're showing the same commercials over and over again. All right, we start here round number 5. We'll be interested to see what Kriegel's card is here thus far if they show his. So they're showing here Lopez is finding a home for a left hook here. After exchanges is a nice counter. So, 39-37. Um, Lopez, with Kriegel giving the second round to Ortiz. So 1, 3, and 4 for Lopez. I guess I can see that. This does feel like it's going to be a closer fight than maybe what I anticipated it being. What it will be interesting to see, and I think this is something again they've been brought up about both guys and how sometimes second half of fights they kind of dip down in regards to their activity level and energy level. Now, if you have two guys who both do that, it's going to be interesting to see who actually has enough gas in the tank, enough juice to get it done. And we're going to be near the halfway point here after the next round. I mean, we're in the 5th round now. So Lopez is doing a good job of stalking, and he it does seem like he's a little bit more in control of the ring. So when these rounds are close, that could be something you could give him a slight edge with. No guys really suffered any damage, no cuts, no abrasions on either one of his face thus far. So mm, yeah, they're talking about the movement here of Ortiz and pretty much how Lopez is maybe chasing him down a bit. I could see that. I mean, his 5th round, can he keep that up another? Oh, well. My yawning ass. Can he keep this up here for another 7 rounds? Um, this movement, and I don't know. And looks like Lopez complaining about something to the ref there, and the ref is saying, "No, you're working here." So I don't know if he was because of the clinch there or what. I kind of agree with Lopez. You know, Lopez just kind of threw his arms up in the air as Ortiz is dancing around the ring a bit here as we close out here the 5th round. So far, this really isn't an exciting fight. It's just the fight this thus far. So, um, yeah. So yeah, we'll just kind of sit here and continue to watch. I mean, I'm not wowed by anything I'm seeing thus far. I'm also sleepy, so there's that. Um, I I don't know. I again with judging, it should be a little bit easier than what it is. It should be a little bit more less subjective than what it is, but I don't know what the hell we're gonna get here scorecard wise. If the fight keeps going at the rate it's currently going. All right, round number 6. So the thinking is here, from what I'm hearing on the commentary, and I would agree with them to an extent. Oh God, man, this I'm gonna need them. Somebody needs to get knocked out. So I'm starting to run on fumes here. But they're saying here, cut off the ring. Lopez needs to cut off the ring and not let Ortiz pretty much dance around, circle around like he's doing. He's currently doing that as we speak. He's literally just circling around from one side of the ring to the other. And Lopez is not cutting off the ring. With him not cutting off the ring from this, it's just pretty much fighting Ortiz's fight. Now, again, how is this going to get scored here from the judges? With Ortiz is, you know, circling around the ring and the ring's not getting cut off from him, but he's also not producing a ton of offense. Lopez is pretty much maintaining and staying in the center of the ring. So, yeah, still not closing off the ring. Now you know, they almost kind of seem like at times they're scared to engage. Yeah. Oh, they're actually a little bit on point here. It's a lot of one punch, one shot. Um, Looking to land one shot here by Lopez. Um, Lopez is pressuring him. Um, but again, it's just not enough interaction, not enough clean punches from either one of these guys at this point. But I can tell here's the thing that this is gonna make this weird with the scoring and everything. You can tell Lopez is starting to get frustrated. Oh fuck. And then they go to commercial break right when Lopez Sr. was about to talk his shit in the corner. But you can tell Tiafimo is getting frustrated. He was, yelling something and talking to Ortiz as the round ended. You know, a guy like Tiafimo Lopez needs an opponent who's going to be willing to engage. Um, and Ortiz isn't that willing to engage thus far. For Lopez, the counterpunch is going to be, very key to what he does. And if you don't have an opponent who's engaging, you have nothing to counter off of. And it's a lot of running around the ring, dancing around the ring thus far from really both guys. Ortiz is fighting a smart fight, but this quote unquote smart fight is it actually winning him rounds? Uh, that's what's going to be interesting to find out here when we go to the scorecards here. As we enter in now the back half of the fight, we're now in the top of 7th round. Um, I think Lopez at some point he's got to bring the dog out. Like he's going to really have to just say throw caution to the wind and just try to press Ortiz. Uh, you can see it in Lopez's face. Yeah, he's definitely frustrated by this shit. Oh no. They had a head clash and it's a cut. I can't tell how nasty of a cut. Oh, it's bad. It's right above the eye there, the left eye of Ortiz, and it is blood flowing from it. The ducks. The doctors right now are looking at it. It is above the eye, but it is a nasty cut. So, well, this ought to be interesting. I mean, it is looks like the cut that is, let me do, since it's the left side of my face. It is like right above here, so it is streaming away from the eye. It's not streaming down into the eye, so streaming and kind of further down the face, which is a good thing. Now the thing is this: it seems to be like it's maybe woken up Lopez a little bit. Is he's trying to be a little bit more of the aggressor? Now I don't know how this is going to work in regards to the cards and it being the cut, but it's all looks like so far it's flowing away from the eye. And the good thing is I haven't seen Ortiz try to wipe away from his face. He still hasn't done that yet. So if it's gonna flow away from the face, I think he should be okay. It's not gonna get in his eye. Now Tim just said something very oxymoron, and she said Ortiz may be winning the match, but he's not winning the fight. Bro, that's one and the same. What the fuck are you talking about? Somehow the fans aren't liking it. If he's winning the match and if he's winning on the cards, he's winning the fight. Guess what? They've already gotten the money. The fans have already bought their tickets. They were in there in the they're there in the arena. So ain't like they can get their money back now. The blood is flowing, but again, where that cut is at, it looks like it hasn't gotten um in the eye. Mike Basil is in the corner here for Jamaine Ortiz. And it's a nasty gash, but again, the way the blood is coming out, it's going away from the eye. So it's cut is like right here and it's going away. It's not dripping into the eye, it's dripping away. So um, I guess if there's any kind of silver lining, that's it. That cut, it's further. It's the way this position is outside the eye from it dripping in. And Mike Basil's a great cut man. I think Stitch Duran is in the other corner there for Teofimo Lopez. Or he may have his own people. I don't know. He's got his own set of crew, possibly, but so let's see how aggressive both of these guys are as we enter the 8th round. See if this changes anything, if this energizes them a little bit. And it seemed to, once the doctors took a look at the cut, like it did energize them a little bit more. So they just showed a replay, and I mean that doesn't actually help out Teofimo Lopez's um, case here. Like, oh, he threw this uppercut. He didn't even hit the uppercut. It was way off. When they showed that punch, that wasn't a great punch on his behalf. Um, now, the cut's not bleeding, which is good. But really, still, neither guy's throwing anything. It's a punch, and let's all kind of circle and readjust here throughout the ring. Again, Lopez is trying, but he's just not able to land enough solid punches on Ortiz. Ortiz actually being the aggressor there, throwing a combination. Didn't land much of those. And then a body shot there by Teofimo that looks like it might have landed. But so far, we're more than halfway through here, round number 7. Excuse me, round number 8, and they did a good job on that cut. As it has not started to bleed again here this round, so that's a good thing that it's not becoming a factor. Not to say that it won't, but so far it isn't. But again, Ortiz right now is not doing a real good job of closing off the ring. As Lopez is the one dancing around, and early in the round, neither was Lopez doing a good job of closing off the ring for Ortiz. So you're seeing just kind of these guys both do the same thing. Um, this has just been a lot of just being on their bicycle for both guys. They'll stop for a second, throw 5 or 6 punches, get back on the bicycle. Um, Very annoying to see. I mean, I know this is boxing. I know it's to hit and not be hit, but you would think at some point these guys are going to mix it up a little bit more than what they're doing. But they're not. Again, I don't know if they're scared, they're timid, whatever they're doing, but you're not seeing these guys really um, invested on trying to have a lot of exchanges with each other. So, all right, now we're going to get here to the 9th round. I mean, we're getting down to the last 4 rounds of the fight, and I couldn't tell you where in the hell this fight is going to be scored at. Sounds like Ortiz's corner was actually giving him some good instructions. As we saw Teofimo Lopez go back to his dad is in the corner fucking shadow boxing. Can't make this shit up. If he loses tonight, that being Lopez, I'm kind of to the point I kind of do want to see him lose just to see what kind of batshit crazy rant he's gonna go on. Because it's gonna be bad. It's something somebody's gonna get blamed. Um, I but I'm not gonna be shocked if the fight continues to play out like this. If it's a draw or wow. So Mark Kriegel now has Ortiz up by 2 rounds. He's got him up 77-75, winning the last 2 rounds. Excuse me, losing the last 2 rounds, but actually winning um, the first 5 out of 6. But again, that they've done a good job with that cut. It's still no bleeding here as of yet. Besides the initial opening of that cut, it's done a great job. Yeah, I again, as Tim is talking, and I have to agree with him. This fight looks very similar to the Sandor Martin and Cambosa's fight in regards to what Teofimo Lopez is doing and having to kind of chase down his opponents and run them down. So again, this could get interesting on the scoring. Could be split decision, could be a draw. I have no idea. Somebody needs to make something to try to separate themselves here during these last 4 rounds. But again, it's Teo just pretty much chasing down, trying to walk down um, Ortiz. So I'm a little bit surprised no big shot has been able to land. But again, Ortiz is maybe a far better fighter than we thought. And I mean, he's not gassed himself out like he did against Lomachenko. Paced himself very well thus far. Oh Lord, yeah, this just kicking my ass. Lopez just took a nasty slip there in the neutral corner. Ah, little kind of tight punches in the clinch. Apparently, there's no mic. You may okay. Hopefully, they take the camera off of the. Yeah, okay, good. Um, so something that's a little bit interesting here. I don't know why that we can't hear any audio from Teo Lopez's corner. So I don't know if senior's mic'd up or if they don't have him mic'd because they know he's going to swear a bunch on ESPN. Uh, but you can definitely tell there's a level of angst, anxiety there in that corner. Very animated senior there in that corner. Um, and we're now in round number 10, and it ain't looking good for Lopez. Again, man, the scoring could be very weird because it's all going to be dependent upon what these judges see. I'm seeing both these guys. Lopez kind of loading up for one shot and he's not getting it. Him not cutting off the ring. Um, Ortiz is landing a few shots here and there, but um, again, he's not landing anything significant. I think probably the biggest MVP of this is Mike Basil in Ortiz's corner, who's done a phenomenal job with that cut. And pretty much since it happened and him going into the ring, going into the corner after that round, no bleeding. Like they've got the bleeding to stop. There's no swelling on it. Uh, Ortiz should be able to finish out these last 3 rounds with no problem. But Tiafimo's inability to cut the ring off and really be able to land some shots and get off his own offense consistently is going to be the telltale story of this fight. Now, also in that same regards, I can see already, especially if he ends up losing, it's end up being a draw. Lopez is going to be pissy about how Ortiz didn't come to fight. He just ran the whole fight. But again, like this is as much as it annoys us, and it annoys me too, watching guys like this. You to quote the late Dennis Green, great NFL coach, you play to win the game. And if this strategy wins the fight for Ortiz, you can't be mad at him because he's doing what he's supposed to do to win the fight. It's not aesthetically pleasing. It's not anything that's going to make me want to say, wow, I want to see this guy fight again. So it's in ways it can be counterproductive from that aspect, but this is what you got to do to win the fight sometimes. So, um, again, I think, and it's something Tim Bradley, I just heard him say again, and he's gonna, it's something definitely you Tiafimo's gonna need to work on because this is now becoming a trend. His inability to cut off the ring. A lot of moving around and turning your back and hands low from Lopez. Yeah. Mm. So Shakur sending out a tweet. Teo is frustrated in losing this fight. Yeah, he definitely looks like his energy is it's not there. So he's probably look. I don't have no idea how to score this at all. I couldn't tell you where the hell this fight is at score wise. This is pretty weird to me. So I don't know. I don't know who's winning the fight at all. Um, yeah. So we're now here to championship rounds. We've got 2 rounds left here. For these one of these guys to do make some sort of statement, do some sort of separation here. Um, Lopez starting off the round much better. Nice right hand to start off the round. Had Ortiz here in retreat. So I Lopez is being a little bit more aggressive, landing some shots here. Maybe he's finally figuring something out here, but again, he's not doing a poor job. As soon as I said that, he's doing a poor job of cutting off the ring. I don't get it. But if he loses this fight, he's going to say, I have a guy who's willing to engage out there. I had a guy who's just on his bike and who just ran the whole time. I can just see that incoming here in the next 10 minutes at this rate. I mean, we're halfway through this 11th round, and Lopez still isn't really cutting the ring off. Ortiz is again, he's not doing much on his behalf either. I mean, he's not doing a ton to make me scream that he's being a world beater at all. I'll say this: if this is a draw, I don't want a rematch. I don't. Fights like this that aren't aesthetically pleasing like this, to where I'm on the edge of my seat, I'm saying, "Ooh, this is awesome," or anything like that. I don't need to see a rematch, or anything like this. So, no matter how it's scored, how close it is, please no rematch. And Lopez again fails to cut off the ring. Unbelievable. For as good as a fighter as he is, and champion in various, he's done it in a couple of different divisions now. Unable to cut off the ring. It's just I'm still flabbergasted by that. No, I tweeted out that I don't know who's one of those fighting. Somebody says Ortiz dot dot dot. I have no idea. I have no clue of how these scorecards are going to go, where they're going to land. It feels like it may end up being a draw. And again, they have no mic on Lopez Sr., so I don't know what he's saying. I am noticing him leaning in and whispering in Tiafimo's ear. So I don't know what's being said to him. Mark Kriegel's card is now Ortiz is up around. He's got a 105, 104. I think regardless what you're going to see here in this 12th round, especially from Ortiz, he's going to be on his bike this whole 3 minutes here. I don't see him really engaging with Tiafimo, and Tiafimo is going to be trying to chase him around and cut off the ring for 3 minutes. Um, eh, let's see how this actually sets up here. Nice left there, landed by Lopez. And again, unable to circle. He again hits him with the left while Ortiz was stopping the corners. So Lopez is head hunting, but again, unable to cut off the ring. Lopez is trying to catch him and walk him down, but again, his inability to cut off the ring is what's doing him in. And Ortiz is doing the smart thing by staying on his bicycle. Um, circling the ring, circling Teofimo Lopez, not stopping long enough for Lopez to get off any sort of offense. And when Lopez does get in close, he's doing a clinch to try to slow him down that way. Okay, literally, I just said, what Ortiz is doing by tying up Lopez, and Tim Bradley stole my line. I'm really wondering if Tim Bradley's listening to what I'm saying. Now Ortiz is doing a dumb thing here. They're in the corner, but then again they end up clinching up, and Ortiz ends up breaking any sort of momentum Lopez had. I am so interested in what these scorecards are going to look like. Now the cut is now that's ironic. The last minute of the fight, after being cut here and going through all these rounds, the cut is now starting to bleed and bleed pretty good here on Ortiz's left eye. Yeah, I mean they bring up a good point. Ortiz hasn't let off a lot of offense. He's just had really good defense. Um, we're gonna see here is now we enter the last few seconds of the fight, and they exchange here in the middle of the ring, but now the fight is over. I had Tiafimo winning a large UD way off. He jumps on the ropes and tries to celebrate. Both guys doing their respective corners. Uh, I don't know. I have no idea what we're finna get here. Um, I think it's gonna be some sort of a draw. So yeah, they're working the cut here, so we're waiting on them to. So Kriegel has it a draw 114 even. And Teofimo Lopez is screaming, "No one wants to fight him." That exactly means. Um, As I've said on Twitter, this was not a fun fight to watch. So please, no rematch. Please, no. We'll see what it says when they get back from commercial break, but I can see already we're gonna get unhinged Lopez here once the scorecards are read. I can see that already. But I don't know how to call it. All right, so hopefully they're coming back here in a second with these damn scorecards. My eyes are wild heavy. And also here with ESPN Plus, if you're going to show these commercials, at least rotate some of them. It's the same commercials I've seen all evening, and they're not good. Um, I don't want any Burger King, and I'm not using some whatever the sports daily fantasy app this is. I've never heard of. Um, nor do I need cream to reverse my vitiligo. With the three commercials they've shown all night, it's like y'all can relax. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of fighters and fans who are shitting on Teofimo Lopez right now. Arnold Barboza, no wonder he doesn't want to fight. He can't cut off the ring to save his life. Um, Ray Flores, this is interesting. Ring announcer, commentator as well. This is boxing. We all know the house fighter takes home the W 98% of the time. The scorecards will be interesting for sure. Terrence Crawford, well, this is interesting. Talked all that shit about me and lost. Like I told him, focus on who you fighting and not me. Teofimo Lopez back to the drawing board champ. Okay, they haven't came back from commercial. Have they announced? Let me see. Okay, well they still haven't came with the scores here yet. Okay. Again, still more commercials. What the hell? I'm thinking I'm probably going to see on Twitter the scorecard before they get back to television. So like this is ridiculous. Like it shouldn't be this many commercials on a damn app that I'm paying for. They're still not even giving the scores yet. They're back, but okay. Anytime it takes this long, it's never good. So we're gonna have some kind of split decision or split draw. Okay, even Joe Tessitore is shitting on this and saying he doesn't look forward to seeing these styles ever again. Um, so they're showing here on, I guess, on a feed that was going on here from Top Rank, where pretty much Keyshawn Davis was outside the ring mocking Ortiz. Okay, here comes the scorecards. This should be interesting.
Steve Weisfeld scores the bout 117-111. Tim Cheatham and David Sutherland both have it 115-113 for your winner by unanimous decision. And still,
Wow. Teofimo Lopez is like he's about to start crying. 117-111, then 115-113 by the other two judges. I don't know how to react to that. He's crying. Oh yeah, I knew this was gonna happen. We're gonna about to get unhinged Teofimo Lopez. He's hugging whoever the supervisor is, the WBO, hugging him, and he's looking at his belt and he's crying and all this stuff. And I don't know. We may get him retiring again after this fight. I don't know if I agree with the 117-111 just seems wild wide. Yeah.
An emotional reaction from you after this decision. What is that all about? Emotional reaction. Hold on, man. Hey, people, humans, listen up, man. Listen up.
Okay, yeah, is Lopez is talking, and he's now telling the crowd to suck a.
We cannot, for 1 second. Let me speak. We cannot, for 1 second, claim these people, these fighters that don't want to come and fight. You go to blood, sweat, and tears. The 3 code of conduct. Sugar Ray Robinson Award. If you ain't ready for this life, get the out of my sport.
So yeah, we are getting unhinged, Teofimo Lopez. So pretty much he's ranting about ranting about guys not wanting to fight, and we need guys in the sport who's willing to fight, and then shouted out God and Jesus there in the middle of that rant. So again, we're getting unhinged Teofimo Lopez. Before he could even give a speech, I don't know if you guys could hear that or not. His dad's chirping something in the back, and he's like, "Let me speak."
To show you people, listen to me. I only believe in the human race. The human race.
And by the way, Teofimo Lopez believes in the human race. That's the only race.
It's a human race. And that's what everything matters to say. I don't believe in all religion. I believe in God, the one and almighty.
Yeah. Unhinged Teofimo Lopez. He's talking about pyramids. Oh, him only believing in God, one religion. Unhinged Teofimo Lopez, folks. We knew this was going to come because he was too calm all fight week. And the weird dynamics between him and his dad continue on. He's Satan lost tonight, by the way, according to Teofimo Lopez. Yo, this guy is so unhinged. Now, interesting. He just said he'll fight Terrence Crawford at a catchweight.
to you guys for what? You guys want it easy. Everybody want it easy. Hey, the only thing easy here is my skills. All right, Phil, well, thank you very much.
Unhinged Teofimo Lopez.
You stuck to the game plan from the first round through the
I mean the crowd is panting and booing Lopez as they should. It's very weird. You know, 117, 111 was way too wide. The 115, 113, I'm fine with. Like I said, thought it could have been a draw as well. Um, like I said, from an aesthetic fight, not a fun fight to watch. Nothing I want to see again. The hell if I know. Look, man, I've been doing this almost 4 hours of stream, so it's the first time doing this. Thanks for everyone who clicked in, watched, and all that. I appreciate you. We'll do this again. I know there's a top rank card here next week. We may tap in and do this next week as well. So again, appreciate everyone chiming in. I'm gonna watch more here of the state of boxing before I doze off and see if we can hear more unhinged Teofimo Lopez. With that being stated, make sure you follow me on social media, Brandon P2TF on X. Punch to the face on IG. So just follow me there for stuff. Till next time, everyone stay safe, stay blessed, love one another. Just remember there's only one race, the human race, according to Teofimo Lopez. Y'all stay safe. I'll talk to you later.